You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Dion right there was purely gaslighting, and it's really unbecoming of somebody of his stature and status. He knows that's not true. The people that cover college football have been arguing vociferously for years to get more autonomy for players so they can make more money, so they can't be treated the same way that they always have. And for him to say that, it's just really specious. It's baseless. And quite frankly, it looks to me like he is living in an alternative universe.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Pete Sheppard Show here on the wonderful Coastal Sports Network. How's everybody doing this morning? Yes, that indeed was Paul Feinbaum. And wait till you hear the exchange, in case you missed it yesterday, wait till you hear the exchange that he had with Stephen A. Smith and really put him in his place. I was watching it live, and I was cheering for Feindy. Absolutely fantastic. And once again, when Stephen A. tries to talk about college football and trying to defend his friend, which is what you can't do that in this business, okay? We've all had personal relationships with people in this business with some players and some coaches. But, man, when it comes to what Stephen A. has been doing with Deion Sanders, it's a fucking joke. Absolute joke. And what Stephen A. just never brings up, he never brings up the record. Never brings it up. You know, never brings it up like I bring it up and others bring it up. It's ridiculous. The amount of, it's starting to fade a little bit, but the amount of not forgiveness, but sense of entitlement for Deion Sanders. I've had it. Others have had it. I know Feindy has had it. Just tell it like it is, Stephen A. The guy's been a horrible coach so far. Period. End of story. Anyway, welcome. It is the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. Thanks for checking us out across the video platform. Following me on Twitter X at PShep326, on Facebook, SR1029thegame.com, ION TV, CSN Florida, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, LinkedIn. And you can call or text at 727-858-6650, 727-858-6650. Got my Patriots military type of hat on today. Give it to me by my man Otis, who checks into the show text-wise from time to time. I hope he calls in sometime. And I have my rare red Pats jersey on as I get ready. And the Patriots get ready to take on the Jets tonight on Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. I'm not sure if it's televised even in local markets if you don't have Amazon Prime. I'm going to assume it is, but we don't know for sure. But, of course, we all have Amazon Prime. Most of us do anyway. And if you don't, that sucks. You're not going to be able to see the game. May not be an exciting game, but nevertheless, it is football here on a Thursday night. Patriots and the Jets. We're going to have lots of NFL and college football video and audio. Interesting stuff. Guests coming up today. Trevor Harris at 8:30. We'll be talking Miami Hurricane, USF Bulls, Florida, which Angel is going to be covering that game coming up on Saturday night at 7 on ESPN. And we look forward to that. I can't wait. At 9:05, John Meter-Perrell will join us, and we will talk about the huge game, sold out already at the Heights at Alumni Stadium, where Boston College will take on Michigan State in an ACC Big Ten matchup, and also the red bandana game with Wells Crowder, who, if you don't know, will get it, and Meter will pull you in. But it's one of the bravest things I've ever seen in my life, and we honor his memory. He's the kid. Well, he was working on Wall Street at the time, former BC grad, and when 9/11 happened, he escaped, and then he went back in and saved a whole bunch of people, but unfortunately did not get out. It really was, it's one of the true, incredible acts of bravery you will ever see. But that's why the red bandana game is so special at the Heights, and they nearly beat Florida State last year. Lost by a point or two, whatever it was. But they host Michigan State. It's going to be a raucous crowd up there at the Heights. And that place, it's a smaller stadium, only holds like 45,000. It'll be rocking, though. We're going to play the video of Feindy going off on Stephen A. yesterday. It's absolutely brilliant. And it's Stephen A. just beep. He tries to backtrack all the time. And Feindy is just not going to have any of it. I loved it. So definitely going to play that for you at the beginning. Got some Bruins sound as well. Don Sweeney went off at on Barstool Sports a little bit. Spittin' Chicklets podcast. They were there, but we'll hear from that. Pat McAfee, some hysterical stuff from Pat McAfee. We have a video from Baker Mayfield. We have video from Jim Harbaugh. Very religious soundbite there. Angel coming up from Jim Harbaugh, the head coach of the. It's not the San Diego Chargers, It's the L.A. Chargers. And there's a Moses quote in there somewhere along the way. Bill Belichick as well. And Mad Dog's top 5 worst sports franchises in the league. We can debate that. That was yesterday on First Take. And then one of the big stories of the day, the big Woj bomb, which was literally a Woj bomb. He retired yesterday from ESPN unexpectedly. But I understand why, when you are an insider like him, we'll have a video of Adam Schefter really summing it all up, and people have to understand. And I think most of you do, especially if you followed me all these years. I mean, you understand the people that we have on, and people who are sports fans understand what these insiders do. You may not always agree with them. I mean, but their phones are constantly on morning, noon, and night, and it doesn't matter where they are, whether they're taking a dump or in the shower or on an airplane. It does not matter. And it can catch up to you. It can catch up to you. So Aaron Rosenberg is going to take over for him. He broke the story yesterday. Hey, Oakland, good luck. You're getting Ben Simmons because he's leaving Brooklyn. They traded him. He's going to I'm sure we'll hear all the nonsense again about how, change of scenery and all that crap. But Aaron Rosenberg is the one that's taken over for Adrian Wojnarowski, who officially retired from ESPN to become the basketball manager at St. Bonaventure, where he went to school and does a lot of fundraising there. It is, I've been reading, it's basically sort of an entry-level job. And obviously he didn't take this job because of the money. I think he took this job so he could spend some more time with his family and all that stuff. But Adam Schefter will sum that all up a little bit later on in the program. With that, we say an MLB rundown, of course, and a whole lot more. Yankees clinch a playoff spot. Congratulations to them. It pains me to say that, but nevertheless, I hold no grudges. We've had their number. We've already beaten them when it really counts. Don't really care about that anymore, except I'll be rooting for them to lose in the postseason. But other than that, congratulations to the Yankees for getting in 57th time, I believe, getting into the postseason. That is a record. Yep, the Dodgers, I believe, are second with the most pennants or most playoff appearances with 37 to 38. I think I saw that this morning. Anyway, we say good morning to Angel Martinez for 3. So you're going to reminisce about the Ben Simmons days in Philadelphia, and then, the emotional trade, the emotions that you went through when you got traded to Brooklyn. Now he's going to Golden State. So all Philadelphia 76ers fans, I think when he comes back to play that one time in Philadelphia this year at Wells Fargo, that you guys should have a tribute video. It would only be about 10 seconds, but tribute video nevertheless.
Yeah, it's okay, because we got the Mayor Cheryl Parker out there in Philly got a new deal done for the Sixers, so they'll end up being down in Chinatown. I think maybe the reason why it happens is because Ben Simmons, he hove it out to the West Coast. And by the way, Golden State fans, good luck with that dribbling mess. It wouldn't even be 10 seconds. It'd be 1 second. It would just be him walking somewhere. That's the only thing.
No, him being afraid of the rim. Like, his kryptonite is orange. I mean, Superman's is a green kryptonite. His is the color of the rim because he won't go to it.
Of course you won't. Because when he's under pressure, he doesn't do anything whatsoever. But he just wanted to be next to the Kardashians. That's all it was. He just wanted to be closer to them so he could feel right at home and all the good happy horse.
Well, who wouldn't? I mean, wouldn't you want to be closer to the Kardashians?
Nope. No, thank you. I'm all right.
I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably last about 10 minutes.
No, I would.
Yeah, you get a nice butt. You get a nice butt. You get a nice butt. And then you open your mouth and they speak. And then it's like, you're not at a Mensa meeting right away. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no.
Can you even function without anybody telling you what to do?
That's pretty much it. But I'd be cordial, say hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. And that's about it, because anything they touch, and listen, and folks can say whatever you want to. I know there's people that listen everywhere. Whatever they touch, they don't have the Midas touch. Whatever the reverse of the Midas touch is what they have.
Who watches these shows? I mean, I will never damn anybody for watching something that's entertaining. Like, for me, I watch a lot of cooking shows. That's my relaxation stuff. I don't care. what people think. That's my relaxation time when I'm not watching sports. So it's entertaining to me. I did see the first episode of the Aaron Hernandez last night on Hulu. The first 2 episodes are out. First one was very interesting. We get into that a little bit. And there's other shows that I watch, like The Bear. I mean, I'll watch the good shows that are on Netflix and Hulu and Amazon. I don't do a lot of mainstream TV anymore because there's not a lot of good shows on it. So I will never begrudge anybody who wants to be entertained, whatever it is. I mean, if you're entertained by the Kardashians or the old lady Bachelorette that just happened the other night, and same thing with old man Bachelorette. I think they got divorced after by the way, old man Bachelorette, didn't he get a bachelor? I think he got divorced about a month or 2 after the show. I think they got married, then they got divorced.
Yeah.
Mike says, "Good morning, fellas. This new Sixers arena in Center City, Philly, is terrible. Too much congestion."
Yeah,
Well,
but they knew that.
okay, congestion. You're going to get congestion in any arena in any city. That's just the way it is. Now, I'm going to ask you, Angel, because I don't know exactly where. I've been to Philly a few times, but I'm trying to figure where this arena is going to be in Center City. Is there public transportation available? Any train? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you'll be fine because you can take the friggin' L, which obviously runs under and then comes back up. But
Yeah.
you can take the L to it. So, do you remember where the gallery is? The gallery.
Yes.
Mall?
Yes.
It's not that far away from there. Maybe about a block or 2 or so away from there, as they're trying to rebuild the gallery, anyways. Because it was, back when the malls were a hot thing, that's what it was in Philly. And then it, like everything else, it decided to basically go away. Now they're trying to get new investors. And when I left, they were starting to do the rebuild inside the mall itself. But it's not going to be that far away from there, which I'm kind of surprised because it means that either Chinatown must have gave the city a sweet deal because Chinatown's about, I don't know, I would say maybe 10 blocks or so. But they invest well in themselves. So whatever they did with Cheryl Parker, with the mayor, they must have struck a hell of a deal in order to happen, because I know Jersey was trying to recruit them. I mean, they already have the practice facility.
Who's paying for it? Taxpayer money? I mean, who's doing the infrastructure and all? Do you know who? Do we know the details?
Supposedly, Cheryl Parker came out with a video yesterday saying there was going to be a lot of privatized funding that's going to do the majority of the investing into the stadium, which sounds like to me that probably Chinatown is going to invest heavily because they know they're going to get their money back one way or the other. So that's what it sounded like. But she said it was like a multiple partnership. She didn't say exactly how the deal still went down, but she said it is a done deal. But she will come up with the video sometime, maybe next week, and actually lay out all the plans on how it happened.
Tell me about the difference in traffic patterns going to Wells Fargo as opposed to going to this new Center City arena. It's going to be better, worse, the same?
Nah, it'll be worse. It'll be worse just because of you have to figure out. So there's limited parking as is right now in the city. Even if you're working downtown, anywhere, whether you work for SEPTA, you work for the city, you work for the school department, you can fit people in, but you have more people in the city than you have as far as parking. Mm-hmm. So you would almost have to do like what the Orioles do. When the Orioles have an early game, what they do is they some of the buildings let their people go earlier so they can get the parking in there. So the city of Philadelphia would have to work out something with the businesses and say, listen, for the revenue loss you guys are going to have for, let's just say, the last 2 hours of the day, you'll get picked up on that so your people can go home so we can open up the parking facilities and the parking spaces.
But I mean, I've been to Camden Yards a few times, and that, for me, and of course, we stayed at the Marriott. I've been there three times or four, three. And you get out of the Marriott right there down at the Inner Harbor, and you can just walk right up to the stadium. It's about as convenient as you can get. Now, I've never driven into the stadium, but it seemed a lot easier and a lot more organized than a lot of other baseball parks that I've seen. I could be wrong. Maybe the traffic patterns are worse. I mean, they used to have the ESPN Sports Bar down there, which is no longer there. But as far as staying there and being able to walk accessible, it's pretty. I think they do a pretty good job. But I haven't been there in years, so I don't know what the traffic patterns may have changed.
No, it's going to be for the folks who live downtown. They're absolutely going to love it because it will be walkable, at least really accessible to a lot of folks. But it just the foot traffic afterwards. Like if it's a weekend game, whatever, they play at 2 to get done by 4, 6, whatever it is, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
When that and if there's another event in the city, it'll definitely create some heavy congestion. But they John Street was, one of a couple of mayors that were the worst things ever to hit Philadelphia, but he tried to make Citizens Bank Park originally in downtown as well, like right off the 676 Expressway. And that didn't work because number one, the size of the ballpark, and then two, again, was the traffic pattern, how congested it was going to end up being. With the Sixers Arena, because you don't need something that big to take up that much space, you're still going to need it regardless, but it's going to add a lot to the rush hour. It's already chaotic. And then if it's bad weather, which makes it even worse, that's about the only thing. But overall, it's probably going to have a better experience because the local bars and restaurants that are down there off Market Street, they'll end up cleaning up more than what they already do now.
How far is the new center city? How far is that from the link?
By car, you're looking at maybe 15, 20 minutes from the link.
Oh, okay. So it's not like some places where they're across the street from that kind of thing. That would be like I said, now that would be a mess.
No, well, that's what it is now. So you have right where the link is, right to the left of it. If you're on 95, you have Lincoln Financial Field. To the left of it is the Wells Fargo Center, and then across the street from the link is Citizens Bank Park. So all three of them are in that area, right in that area now, and that gets congested when it's the events there. But that isn't actually, it isn't too bad, and that's what so originally that's why they wanted to move Citizens Bank Park away from there, but the Sixers, for whatever reason, wanted to, and Josh Harris, the owner, he just wanted a whole separate facility for the Sixers. Now, I think, in my opinion, I haven't seen the upgrades now to Wells Fargo. But for example, if I use Amalie compared to the Wells Fargo, Amalie is 1,000 times better than the Wells Fargo is. And just in my opinion, I think the Sixers just wanted a much better experience for the fans, and they just wanted their own separate facility. Granted, still going to be concerts and stuff there, but it's just. I just think they wanted that real downtown center city feel. It's just they'll figure it out. Just like when they put up Comcast 1 and 2, that was a hell of a mess for a couple of years, but they got to situate it.
Yeah. All right. Well, you don't have to drive in downtown Philadelphia traffic anymore. I sure as hell don't have to drive in Boston traffic anymore. It's not even Philadelphia and Boston traffic. We're talking suburbs going into the city, like we talked about yesterday. I mean, it's just if you have a 9-to-5 job, or God forbid, even earlier, you have to leave 2 hours early, basically, to get to your job.
Yeah, like Jersey Mike.
It's really, really pathetic what has happened. And then, for whatever reason, Angel, you know this too, for the Northeasterners out there, for whatever reason, as soon as a drop of rain comes down, everybody hits the brakes. I don't know why. But it's that way. Boston, Philadelphia, New York. I know I always lump those three cities in, but the traffic patterns are so similar in so many ways, and the amount of idiot drivers is right up there. Like I said, here in Florida, we have our own set of idiot drivers, but they're different idiot drivers. They have it's a whole other world. I'm not saying one state is better than the other as far as idiot drivers go. It's just a different form of idiocy down here. Especially people staying in the left lane going 10 miles under the speed limit and then want to take a left turn, but are afraid to stay in the center lane because they just have a fear. And then you have the opposite of the people going 150 miles an hour on some of the roads down here. And the fatalities, at least in this state, since I've been down here almost 8 years, I've never seen the accidents down here are very different from the ones in the Northeast on the whole. They really are, because a lot of those are fender benders, and you might get a 3-car crash here and there on some of the highways, but down here, man, you see when there's an accident reported, and you watch the local news in the morning. If there's an accident, man, that's an accident. I mean, there's cars flipped over.
Yep.
Fatalities. I mean, it can be brutal. Anyway, we digress. 727-858-6650. Lots to talk about. I want to get this because I want reaction from you guys right away about Stephen A. Smith. But then also, Angel, I do have a very controversial subject, maybe one of the most we've ever addressed on this show together. And Dan Orlovsky's going to talk about it as well a little bit later on, along with some of the people on Get Up. And it has to do with hot dogs. And we could have, we could sit here and talk about religion, sports, politics, a plethora of other subjects that people are passionate about one way or the other. But you mention what you should or should not put on a hot dog or serve a hot dog, and people lose their fucking minds. It is absolutely unbelievable the amount of passion people have. What do you want to call it? Hot dog or Frankfurter or wiener or whatever you want to call it. Roast in some places. It really invokes, like hatred. What? You did this? What? You did? I mean, personally, I don't really care what you put on a hot dog. I really don't. Chicago people have their ethics. The Northeast people have theirs. Down here in Florida, Southwest Florida, up in Tampa. I mean, to each his own. When you eat something, to each his own. But it invokes such passion and hatred about what you should and should not put on a hot dog. And then I heard a couple of things that I just couldn't believe, and we will get to that. It's quite funny actually. And Devin McCourty as well was throwing or Jason McCourty was throwing his 2 cents in as well. My favorite one was he never heard of hot dogs being sliced thinly and put in macaroni and cheese.
Really?
Who does it? Who hasn't done that? That's delicious. I haven't you ever made a hamburger and chopped it up and put it in mac and cheese? I've seen mac and cheese burgers. Guy Fieri has been to places on diners, drivers, and dive. I've seen a bunch of mac and cheese burgers. A bunch.
So have I.
I mean, hot dogs is kind of hard to mess it up. It really is. And then you get the pigs in a blend. I mean, if people have this passion about what they should or what they should not put on a hot dog, and especially the ketchup argument. I mean, you say you put ketchup on a hot dog in some places around the country, and they want to shoot you, like on sight. Boom! What are you, crazy? But I mean, it really, really is. I can take relief. I like ketchup on a hot dog. I never used to be a relish guy in a hot dog, but now I am. I like anything. Mostly, to me, but the perfect hot dog is how they used to make them in my native Rhode Island at Wienerama. You would have loved this place, Angel, in Cranston, Rhode Island. There's a lot of places in New York, Boston, Philly, and other restaurants around the country and the world, I'm sure. But this was unique. The guy would stack. Can you see my arm?
Yep.
Stack hot dogs all the way up his arm, and would just be the beautiful wiener with a good snap, the unbelievable ground beef that goes on it, seasoned. Almost like what you'd find in a sloppy Joe, but not sloppy Joe. It would be plain, and then just little tiny diced onions all on the hot dog. That's it. That is it. And you really don't need anything. I mean, you can put other stuff on it afterwards in the condiment section, but you really don't need to do anything else. And they are so freaking good. And the bread is just perfect, and it's like eating hot dog peanuts. You can't stop. It's amazing. But anyway. We'll get into more of that and a lot more. Jerry says, oh, no, hot dog talk. Yeah. Well, Jerry, you know what I'm talking about. You've been to Wienerama, I'm sure, in Cranston, and you know what I'm talking about, those dogs that are famous in Rhode Island.
He said it's, as you're saying it, he texted in and said it's closed.
Oh, is it? Oh, it used to be on Oakland Avenue. Is it really closed? You got to be kidding me. Oh, that's a shame. No, but somebody still does it over there. I know that because I've seen it. And I had them a few years ago when I went up to visit my sister.
But you also have people too with the hot dogs. Some folks had a friend of mine. She used to put in her spaghetti, which I thought it was always a little bit freaking crazy. But she would chop them up, put them in there.
I've seen that, and I've seen a lot of parents do that for their kids as well. Look, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, look, there's a lot of things you can put in pasta. I don't know if I'd necessarily put hot dogs in spaghetti. Well, you know what? It depends if you're, put any mac and cheese, which is pasta, and you put hot dogs in, I got no problem with that. I mean, and spaghetti, whatever, spaghetti too. It's better than, just don't use like ragu or any of that crap. Use, Hunt's or fresh sauce or something like that. Yeah. Or if you're making a white, whatever it is. It's a sausage product. You have sausage, spaghetti and sausage. Okay, a lot of people have that. Hot dog is a form of sausage. I know maybe it sounds weird on the surface. Anyway, I want to. We'll get into more of that. But I'm telling you, man, there is nothing that you can debate like a hot dog argument, a hot dog discussion.
Oh yeah.
And then you got Chicago. Chicago puts everything on a hot dog except the kitchen sink. Everything. That's too much. It's too much. I like it. I would have it. I'm not complaining about it, but I'm saying it's too busy for me. The standard Chicago dog. Just give me something with onions, celery salt at the end, ketchup, mustard, relish, and I'm good. Or just mustard, or just relish, or just, I don't care. All three, doesn't matter.
Well, speaking of, Gas Pump Guy says, I like mustard, chili, onions, and some jalapenos.
Absolutely, that works too. Look, certainly chili dogs work. You got to, I think when you do a cheese dog, you have to go almost like Philadelphia steak and sandwich, steak sandwich cheese, Philly steak sandwich. You have to use the bottled cheese. If you're doing a cheese dog, you got to use the bottled cheese and just slowly. Don't overgoo it, but just enough, and just even that, and a pinch of celery salt. Golden, absolutely golden. So, but you got to hear the argument that and some of the people, I don't know what kind of palates they had or how they're raised or whatever, they're just not exposed. I don't think putting a hot dog and macaroni and cheese is that big a deal. I just don't. People crush up hamburger and put it in their mac and cheese.
Right.
You can put up a lot of things in mac and cheese. A lot of people do lobster mac and cheese. I'm not a huge fan of that because you know my rule with cheesy and shellfish dishes. And I'm not talking about tuna melts because that's different. That's delicious. But it's not that I hate lobster mac and cheese, but it's just I have a real issue with shellfish and cheese. It just it's to my Italian roots. I just go back and I feel my grandparents rolling over in the grave, and everybody else that took part in the Roman Empire. Anyway,
Jerry said he sent me a photo there, a Yelp review saying that Wienerama closed updated September 2024. So this is as of recent.
Well, today's the 19th. So how could it be 2020? That's September 20th, 2024 hasn't happened yet.
No. The year 2024.
This is 2024.
Right. So this month is when it closed. He's saying, according to Yelp review,
that's tomorrow. Then, if it's closing, it's closing tomorrow. If it's today's the 19th.
Yeah, no, but it's saying like it just said the month and year, not the date, the month and year. So it looks like
9/20. I got you. And then so it was closed earlier this month. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and he says, "Great, P. Now I have to get hot wieners for lunch."
What's the thing? All right, I'll tell you what. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, I promise you, right out of the gate, you got to hear one of the best rants of all time, one of the best rants and counter rants. Paul Feinbaum going at Stephen A. Smith and put him in his place. He'll tell you, Stephen A., stop defending Deion Sanders, your quote-unquote friend. You're going to love it. That and a whole lot more coming up next here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jim and the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our 2nd location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu.
Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
High on Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. High on Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by High on Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
It's awesome. The little dots and blurbs of everybody listening around the country. So great stuff. We had a little thunderstorm last night late. My understanding, Peanut Gallery told me I didn't hear it, but we also had a package delivered last night from Amazon. I didn't realize they delivered it in the middle of the night.
Huh. Or unless it was a neighbor that had it and decided to drop it off at your house.
No. This was legit. But yes, that has happened before. No question about it. Before we get to, and if we could get, it's the Finey going at the debate that Stephen A. had with Paul Feinbaum. If we could get that ready to go, Angel, it's if you scroll down, it's under the Belichick stuff on awful announcing. We'll get to that in a second. But I do have a little other announcement to make, and I told Angel last night. Lady Elaine, my wife, and I have decided, after talking it over and looking at some pictures and everything else, we have told yesterday we are now the proud owners of a new rescue Scotty Terrier. Her name is Luna. She is 6 years old. I'm going to post some pictures after the show. So she is in South Carolina. So a week from tomorrow, after the show, we are going to fly up to South Carolina and grab her and then drive back. It's about 10 and a half hours driving back from where she is in South Carolina back to Southwest Florida. So she's beautiful. I wasn't sure how I'd feel about a rescue dog. I've never had a rescue dog. I've had dogs all my life, but never a rescue. But she was just so adorable. And when you hear the story, this poor dog was trying to be sold online for $10. And thank goodness this wonderful woman, Lisa, and her husband, who's a police officer in South Carolina, she adopts Scotty Terriers, and I forget the whole story about how she found this one, but I can't imagine any dog, but a thoroughbred Scotty Terrier trying to be sold online for $10, and she was completely neglected. And yeah, she's sick. She was with another family before, and they had kids in a small apartment, and the little boy that was born was allergic to it, so they got rid of it. Anyway, it's I feel honored that we're able to do it, because it honors the memory of Chara, who we had for 14 years, and that's what it is. To rescue a dog like that has been not totally abused, but the fact that the dog, Scotty Terrier, was online for $10 is just crazy. It's just crazy. We're not paying $10 for her, obviously. She's very well kept now. Thanks to Lisa and her husband. So bottom line is I'll post some pictures after the show on Facebook, and you can see our beautiful new baby that we've adopted, that we will go get her in South Carolina coming up a week from Friday. Still do the show on Friday. After the show, we are going to, early afternoon, fly up to South Carolina, then drive back with her. And I've timed it. I didn't think it was going to time out this way, but it timed out great, because our flight to South Carolina lands about 6:15 at night. And the hotel is about 15 minutes away. And the Hurricanes play at 7 o'clock against Virginia Tech next Friday, a week from this Friday. So that works out fantastic. And then we drive back on Saturday. And on Sunday, the Patriots have a late game for me, the 49ers at 4:05. So anyway, it's going to be a wonderful weekend. We are so excited to welcome our little Luna aboard our family here. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you. I like to share parts of my life. We'll post some pictures, and it was pretty emotional yesterday, because there were a lot of applicants for this dog, a lot, and she chose us because of our kindness, sincerity, and a peanut gallery filled out the application and all that stuff. Climate was a factor as well, because it's beautiful down here, and Scotty Terriers tend to have some joint issues in the colder weather. But overall, we were honored to be chosen out of I can't tell you how many applicants, and we got from all over the country, by the way, all over the country. And we got word. We talked to Lisa yesterday. She's like, "Congratulations, this, that, and the other." And she was very, very kind. So there you have it.
By the way, Jerry from Rhode Island says, "Congratulations, Pete, and another lucky dog." And then Gas Pump Guy follows it up with, "That's awesome, Pete. Congratulations. Rescue dogs are awesome. All the dogs that I have were rescue dogs." So that's awesome. It's always a blessing. Always a blessing.
All right, let's get back to it. I've been teasing it. Let's get to it. Paul Feinbaum suggested Stephen A. Smith wanted to return his degree, and I can absolutely understand why. And Stephen A., of course, let's just play this video. This is one of the epic all-time discussions, if you will, about Deion Sanders. Stephen A. and Paul Feinbaum going at it yesterday on ESPN.
Here, they're not getting criticized. The guys at the Denver Post, Sean Keeler, went after Deion. He never went after a player. And unless Deion Sanders or you, Stephen A. Smith, can come up and tell me what player specifically he has gone after, I'm going to continue on with what I'm saying. I am really shocked by you trying to split the baby here, Stephen A. I mean, you know better. Deion Sanders is completely wrong here. There's no justification for him castigating the entire media for nothing, for something that never happened. And if he can state it, go ahead and state it. But don't sound like one of these politicians coming in here and blaming it all on the media. That doesn't work in college football.
Well, first of all,
college football media, if anything, is too subservient to the people that coach like Deion Sanders. Just like you are right now trying to.
Don't give me that nonsense about me being subservient, Paul Feinbaum. You stop that right now.
Well, no, what did you just
quoting the man.
Here?
Hold on. I'm quoting the man. I didn't know what happened until I heard his quote. And when he said in his quote, some of y'all, I'm like, okay, I don't know who those folks are. I don't know. Excuse me. I think he believes it. And that's what I'm saying. So my point is, if he's coming at it and he said, listen, I'm not reading the Denver Post every day. I'm not watching the reports for every beat writer covering the Colorado Buffaloes, okay? I got other things to do with my time. If I'm quoting the man and the man said some, all right, then I'm assuming, okay, well, there might be a couple of people that might criticize players. So what? If he said all of yous, that would be different. That's not what he said. And that's all I'm saying. You can't knock me for quoting the man and accuse me of being subservient because I'm taking him based off of what he actually said and I'm deducing what it means from the words coming out of his mouth. You do that every day.
Yeah, well, I'm the one who said he was gaslighting, and you said I'm not gaslighting, and I don't know what you're basing it on other than giving your friend, Coach Prime, the benefit of the doubt. Well, I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt anymore.
All right, you choose not to give him the benefit of the doubt. I choose to give him the benefit of the doubt because I'm quoting him. I'm quoting him. Now, you can deduce from his quotes that you don't believe a damn word he's saying, and that's your right.
Well, that's
but
exactly
in the end, if you're covering the Colorado Buffaloes, just like you're the same Paul Feinbaum that's come over the airwaves last year and this year. You were talking about how people were rooting for him to fail. So if they were rooting for him to fail, which is something that you conceded last year, right? Chances are that the level of venom, vitriol, criticism that's coming in his direction only intensified, right? So if he decides that there's some people out there that literally want me to fail and are willing to go after my kids in order to do it, can we summarily dismiss the notion that there are people out there that he believes are extra critical of his program and the players playing on this program? We can't do that, Paul. We can't do that.
What?
Listen, first of all, I'm not on trial here. Deion Sanders is the person we're reacting to. And Stephen A., when you go to your alma mater on Friday, you might want to take your degree back because I don't know where I've always had great respect for you as a journalist, and I still do, but you're going to some unbelievable lengths, breaking your back, trying to make a case for Deion Sanders, who just threw that out there without a single specific. And Doggy, you know what I'm talking about here. And he knew that there would be people that would give him the benefit of the doubt. Well, he does not deserve the benefit of the doubt here.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, Howard University is not my alma mater. That would be Winston-Salem State. I'll be at Howard Friday. That's number one. Number two,
maybe
you can
give
talk
you an
about
degree then.
You know what? They've given me an honorary degree at a couple of places, and I'll probably get it a couple of more places. I'm honored. But the bottom line is this, Paul Feinbaum. At the end of the day, I am not giving primetime Deion Sanders a complete pass. I specifically pointed out, some of the criticism that your son may receive might be a byproduct of you and the people that you've antagonized along the way. From day one when you beat TCU, do you believe, and dismiss the reporter because the reporter didn't believe. We've gotten on him about a plethora of things over the last year plus in the seasons that he's been at Colorado. But if he says that there's a level of vitriol that's coming in his direction, I don't find that very hard to believe because it's him. And sometimes you might have people that are going after players because they really are sending a message to come after him. I don't think that's beyond the realm of comprehension.
Give an example. Again, give an example. Paul Feinbaum is 100% absolutely right. And Stephen A., as you can tell, who just doesn't watch a lot of college football. The only thing he can say nowadays is Alabama and Colorado. It's been that way for years. It's a fucking joke anytime he's on any of these shows and tries to talk about college football, which is why they have to have Feinbaum and other people that watch college football on, because some of these dummies that are working on these shows have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to college football. I'm not saying everybody, but there's a few. Stephen A. is one of them. I respect him as a journalist. When he starts talking about college football, I fucking cringe. And so does everybody else. That's why they have to have Feinbaum on and others who are Kirk Herbstreit, McElroy, and others, they have to have these people on that are watching because Stephen A. just throws shit out there. And because Deion, is Stephen A. friends with everybody in the media? Everybody's a friend to Stephen A. Ever notice that? He's a friend to Stephen A. I would love to know what Deion Sanders really thinks of Stephen A. I really would. Because if Stephen A. were ever at that press conference the other day where Deion Sanders went off, as Finey said, just off the cuff, blanketing every reporter in about how they're attacking his players, which there's no examples of, or how just the opposite. How many people praise Sanders and Hunter and the couple of players on the team that are good? You cannot tell me, Stephen A., if you were fair and impartial, that you would have sat there at that press conference, had Deion Sanders going off on all the media, which would include you, and you say, where is this? And you not ask the one question, give me an example. Give me an example. And then I would throw back at him, what's your record again in college football the last year and the last 3 games against Division I schools? It's terrible. It is terrible. Stephen A. goes on the air every week and tries to rip the Dallas Cowboys a new one. He is especially harsh when they lose, and some of that is shtick and yada yada. He puts the fake fucking cowboy hat on and all that stuff. But he never points that hard-hitting analysis or that criticism to Deion Sanders, who, if his name was not Deion Sanders, he probably would be close to being fired after what he has not accomplished. And I know it's only been a year and 3 games, but he's done nothing. They got progressively worse as the season ended. Go look at the numbers. Go look at it. You talk about being critical. How about Stephen A.? How about Billy Napier, what he's going through? How about Mike at Florida? How about what Mike Norvell's going through at Florida State? You want to talk about big-time programs with coaches who were successful in the past and are now having some difficulty. You want to talk about facing criticism? Can you imagine Deion Sanders, Angel, in a University of Florida, in a Gator situation right now, what Billy Napier's going through? Can you even imagine that, how he would react? Oh, my God. He'd ban he'd probably say, I want to play in front of nobody at the Swamp. 90,000 people, no, go away.
But the funny thing is, hasn't Stephen A. Smith also been very judgmental and critical of people as well? But it's okay if Deion Sanders doesn't like to get the criticism or people expressing their opinions. So I don't get it with Stephen A. Smith. Like, you want to stick up for him, whatever, and that's fine. To each his own. But you can't turn around like the way Deion did and basically put everybody in the same category. And
Angel, there's no examples. He gives no examples. He says everybody's criticizing his players or majority because people are getting paid. That is such crap and bullshit. No, Deion, give me an example. Give me one. Show me one. Besides the player that got caught, or not caught, but after he was arrested on the domestic abuse allegation. Besides that, tell me where the criticism is. Somebody show me where the criticism is for a particular player. Now, you can criticize and dissect and analyze a bunch of their losses, all of them in different ways, shape, or form, which I think a lot of them have to do with coaching, by the way, not necessarily the players. But you show me, Deion Sanders, come up with one example. Just give me one. Show me one where somebody, what you consider an attack. Show me some article or give me a piece of audio or video where you consider somebody attacking one of your players or what you perceive to be attacking. Because, man, I can't believe that somebody's experienced as you are around. And you even said it yesterday about what you've gone through in your life and everything else. It's unfortunate, but college players in big-time programs in football and basketball get attacked all the time. And I'm not saying personally, but I mean, they're going to be judged by their performance a lot of times. And he has also got to understand right now, Deion, these players are all getting paid. A lot of them are getting paid. So that makes them sort of professional or at least semi-professional. So you're goddamn right. They are going to come under a hell of a lot more scrutiny than these athletes ever did in the past. Because they're getting paid, and you're getting paid, you're going to make more money staying in college than you will in their first year on a standard NFL contract in most cases. So don't sit there and act like you're on some island and I'm Deion Sanders and everybody's attacking us and blah, blah. First and foremost, look at your record. It sucks. You're not getting any better. I told you, you're not going to win more than 3 or 4 games this year. And then what? Your kid's going to leave. and you're going to bolt with them, and you'll have some other bullshit excuse about how you changed your mind, and you said you were going to stay at Colorado through thick and thin, blah blah blah. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's see what happens after another 3-9 season, 4-8 season, whatever, and they are calling for your ass because they will be, and that's when the heat will really hit, and he'll bail. But he has got to understand that this is a new day and age in college football. With this nil money and everything else, you're at least, at the very least, a semi-professional. And you have to take that into consideration. Dion, you wouldn't last 2 seconds in Gainesville with what that man has gone through, Billy Napier. And I feel badly for him, and a lot of it is on him. But you want to talk about scrutiny in some places? Dion, you've gotten off easy, my friend. Easy peasy there in Buffalo, as a whole bunch of people not only are not attacking you, they're kissing your ass. And you got people like Stephen A., who are the biggest smoochers of all. Mwah, Dion. Unbelievable. God, it pisses me off. God, please, Baylor. Oh, God, please. Please. Let the Baylor Bears just I don't care if they win by a point or a safety. Just please, whip their ass. Whip their ass on Saturday.
It's going to be to the point where he's not going to have anybody come in the locker room anymore afterwards. Afterwards, during.
That's what I want. I want him to come out to a locker room, a press conference full of nobody.
That's what it's going to come down to, because a lot of these reporters, a lot of the true journalists are going to be like, you know what? Nah, I'm done. I don't have to freaking put up with it. And especially like the whole shade too yesterday, which made absolutely no sense when he talked about like, oh, you guys are just upset because they're making more money than what you are.
Yeah, that's the biggest excuse of all. That just cracks me up. Yeah, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Again, Aaron Rosenberg is replacing Adrian Wojnarowski as a pivot. And Angel, I wanted to scroll down right underneath that when you see it. And it's right under the Coastal Network, Coastal Sports Network, showing our show right now. We're underneath that, NBA on ESPN. I think Adam Schefter does a great job here. And for those of you who don't understand what being a quote-unquote insider is, there are a lot of people that claim they're insiders or influencers. I still, for the life of me, Angel, I don't know what an influencer is. I don't know what that means. If I sit there at my kitchen counter at Fort Myers a la Della Cucina and make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich a different way and probably get 1,000 views as I'm doing it, am I an influencer? What does an influencer do? Who looks up, who goes and says, gee, you're an influencer? And you see him on all these shows. I mean, even some cooking shows and some other stuff. I'm like, all right, you made mac and cheese. Why are you an influencer? I don't understand it.
Good. That's all it takes. All it takes is for you to be silly or anything else. There's the one show off of Netflix where the guy used to be on $1 Million Listing, ended up opening up his own agency, has sold a bunch of money. And then they're selling this, first of all, New York, it's overrated in the first place when it comes to these, apartment type homes. It was selling for like some $20 million. Here's this person that comes out from, oh yeah, I'm a YouTube influencer. Yeah, this would be like right in my wheelhouse.
What does that mean?
Listen, I don't know. All I know is they just go around and they're like, all they are is a hypered Kardashian. That's all it is. If you look at the Kardashians,
is the Haktua girl an influencer? I mean, she's kind of died down a little bit, thank goodness. But because she spit and made an obscene remark about a penis related to a microphone, she spits at it and is on talk shows. She's getting all this stuff. She got paid money to go to concerts. She get this, she get that. I mean, is that an influencer? An influencer of what? Dog shit? I mean, what is that? Anyway, let's get to Adam Schefter, Andrew, before we go to break. I want people to really hear this.
I'm trying to see it under your stuff, but Adam Schefter.
Yep.
Here it is. Okay.
Yep. All right.
Further down.
But let me say this, that the people assembled on this panel here understand it, but I always would say to people, there are only a handful of people that could understand what you do for a living and what it takes and what goes into it. And Woj was one of those. I would say that he understands what we do, what I do, better than my wife understands it. And when I heard him weighing what to do, and there you see a picture that we took in the cafeteria, and I see that and I get emotional, right? Because Chris Mortensen understood that, and he's no longer with us. He left the earth in February, and Woj had such great respect for him, and vice versa, Mort for Woj. And now Woj has stepped aside, and we talked about this. And basically, he wanted his life back. He didn't want to have to work on holidays. He didn't want to be away from more family gatherings. He didn't want to have to, as we had to do in the past, take a shower with your phone up against the shower door so you could see a text that's coming in, or take your phone with you to the urinal and hold it in one hand while you're trying to take care of your business in the other. That's the life that we live. And that was a life that he chose not to do any longer, because it takes over your life. You can't kind of do the job. You have to live the job. And he was done living the job. He wants to go live his life and work for his school and give back to younger athletes and help people beyond what he's done at the highest of high levels for however long he's done it. It's enough. He's had enough, and he gets to go out on his terms after he crushed it in free agency, after he crushed it during his career, and now he gets to do what he wants, which is exactly how it should be.
Well said. Absolutely. Well said, Adam Sheppard, and that's what it is. And I know most of you who are sports fans, I think you understand it. You understand why some of these guys have 2, 3, sometimes 4 cell phones for different things. One's personal, the other 3 have to do with agents and players that they've developed relationships with. So I totally understand it. The position he's taken at St. Bonaventure, my understanding, his alma mater, as you heard Sheffy say, is entry-level type position. He's not doing this for the money. He's probably got plenty of money, I'm sure, and probably invested wisely. But you get it. To live this life, and Adam Schefter is not going to do this forever either. And I think Phil Yates is who they're grooming to replace Adam Schefter when this is all said and done. But it does take a certain mindset to do it. You're on call 24/7. Doesn't matter. Something breaks. You're in bed in the middle of the night. Your phone goes off. You got to get up. If you have a wife and kids or whatever, you got to get up and start writing, or you have to go on these shows. It doesn't matter. It's extremely satisfying. You're well paid, not Stephen A. Smith well paid to spew that crap all day in a lot of cases. The guys like Adam Schefter and Jeff Passan you saw up there, and Pete Thamel, who are, Pete's the college football insider. He's on call. Jeff Passan's the baseball guy. Both of those guys came over from Yahoo Sports, by the way, where they established, incredible reputations, good stuff. And ESPN, did a good thing by stealing them away from Yahoo Sports. And, of course, Shefty and Adrian Wojnarowski was also at Yahoo Sports. So Adrian Wojnarowski, Pete Thamel, and Jeff Passan all came from Yahoo Sports. Adam Schefter came from Denver. He covered the Broncos for many, many years. They're all great at what they do. The insiders are fantastic at what they do. They break a whole lot of stories for ESPN. But it is hard work. And people are like, well, you're talking about sports for a living. Think about whatever job you're doing. If you're on call 24/7, you get up at call at 1:45 in the morning, and you barely just got to bed an hour before. You got to get up and either get to your laptop to do a take, like to do some sort of a show via Zoom, or how we do it, or you have to, in your studio. And those guys all have studios in their homes. You can see it, or you have to go on a TV show, or they want you to come into the studio, whatever it is, you're on call 24/7. You can't, it takes a toll. It absolutely takes a toll. It takes a toll on, if you're just covering, whether it be radio or TV, and you're with it's particularly a baseball team, because you can be on the road for, a couple of weeks at a time. And if you are the clubhouse insider in Major League Baseball, no matter what team, not every team has one of those, but you know what I'm talking about, Angel. Most teams do have somebody on the flagship station that will be in the clubhouse and travel with the team. And even that, just doing that takes a toll on you. I remember watching friends of mine at WEI, 4 hours in advance. If a Red Sox start or the Phillies start or the Yankees, whatever team it is, the people that are producing the games, and we're going to talk with Trevor Harris at the bottom of the hour. He'll tell you. I mean, he's got a big game coming up. Produces Miami Dolphins and does their post-game show and produces Miami Hurricane football. Big game at USF. And I'll let him reiterate again what it's like. But my friends who were producers and also producers for a lot of the shows it takes like a couple of producers to put let's just make an example, a Red Sox pregame show together, like 4 hours in advance. 4 hours in advance. There's stuff that's pre-recorded. There's you got to make sure that the hosts at the stadium know exactly when to read spots and when to do this and when to do that. You got to get sound from every single major league game just about from the night before. You know, like what we do here. Okay, I try to play as much sound as we can during the show, but it is extremely taxing. The producers, in a lot of ways, have a much harder job than the actual talent broadcasting the games. Not that they're not prepared or anything else, but the production that goes on behind the scene, I wish people could see the coordination it takes. I know, Angel, you know about it as well as anybody's, but you know, I'm not wrong, am I? I mean, it really is. Without good producers, you have shit broadcast, and you can tell sometimes, not just in pros and college. I mean, you can see it sometimes and hear it. More than, if things aren't going well, it's because the producers fail to do their job with the talent. Now, sometimes it's the talent's fault too. They just get off track, or they get out of order. But you know exactly what I'm saying, Angel.
Well, yeah, nope. It takes a lot. You got to be on call yourself, because you never know when things end up happening, and then you got to keep up with everything. You also always have to be a step ahead of everyone else, and so. You got to there's so many factors that go into it, and it is time consuming. It's long days, very short nights for sure. So, I feel I know Woj, again, you want to spend time with the family, and it's when it's time to walk away from anything. Everybody knows this. And if you don't, some people just wait until the wheels fall off, and then they just, they pass away at their job. But in order to put something together really well, to make sure you have a network where people want to come and watch and see what you do, that's what you have to do. You have to be on call yourself and learn that it's a very, very short window that you have, even for your own personal time. Every time people hear me, it's like we barely do stuff as far as for my wife and I. I make sure I take the time for it. Don't get me wrong, but things have to happen until things get bigger and better, and I can have a payroll situation where I can add more people, but that's the way it is. And Adam Schefter, the same way. I mean, he's been at times where he's done something at 12:30 at night, and he's popped back in at 2:15 in the morning because something happened, especially during the NFL season, when trades happen and rumors happen, and they have to find out whether it's true or not. And in the NBA, it's really tough, because then you even take now, for example, the G League, they have open tryouts for the guys who can go in. So Woj covered basketball probably better than no one that I've seen to date. And we'll see the kid who's taking over his spot, if he'll be as good as him. It might take him a while.
Well, he already broke one story yesterday. I mean, he's the only one that I saw that had Ben Simmons going to Golden State from the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, good luck with that.
But nevertheless. All right, we're running a little late. Time for a quick break. When we come back, lots of NFL preview sound to tell you about, and some good video and some good audio to tell you about. Patriots and the Jets coming up tonight. And please say a prayer. You don't want the Jets to win, right? You don't want the Jets to win.
Hey, I'm picking the Patriots to win.
I don't know about that. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game.
That's going to be the upset special.
Well, God, if that's the case tomorrow, I will be incredibly insufferable, more so than usual. Anyway, it is the Pete Sheppard Show here. Hour number 2. Well, it's kind of already underway, but quick break. And when we come back, more NFL college football video and audio. And also the Red Sox report coming up at 8:15 as well. They rebounded and won last night in Tampa, 2-1. We'll tell all of that. Trevor Harris at the bottom of the hour from WQAM in Miami, producer for the Miami Hurricanes and the Miami Dolphins, and also the post-game show host for the Dolphins. We'll get his thoughts. And at 9:05, John Mita-Perrell up in Boston will join us as the Eagles get ready to take on Michigan State this weekend in the red bandana game. We'll tell you all about that. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show as we continue here on a Thursday on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Chicken and Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu.
Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And, with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have anybody to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
Welcome back. It's hour number 2. A little bit late, but that's okay. You know why? Because it's my show, and I can come and go as I please, damn it. Angel Martinez in the house. We are here until 10 a.m. This morning. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out on the Coastal Sports Network. Big show today already. Had a lot of fun and some passionate conversation and some passionate yelling by me about Deion Sanders and the state of the Colorado Buffalo football team. Lots more. We're going to have some fun this hour. We are going to have a little hot dog debate. We've got a lot to jam in here. Trevor Harris at the bottom of the hour from WQAM in Miami talking about the big game coming up between the Canes and the USF Bulls. It's going to be a fun time. The only thing I'm worried about, Angel, I'm glad you're going to be there covering it. I hope you're going to hate me for saying this. The only thing that concerns me is WX.
The weather?
Yes.
Yep.
I don't want you to have to stay there. If it was, we don't want a scenario last week. It was bad enough in Gainesville, but theirs was only 45 minutes. The Hurricanes was 2 hours and 45 minutes. And there's nothing worse than when you cover a baseball team. It doesn't happen all that often in football. It really doesn't, considering the weather, especially in the South. But I would hate to have you at Ray J and the game started at 11 o'clock at night for whatever reason. Now or 10 o'clock at night, or even 9 o'clock at night, a 2-hour delay, because you never know. I'm not sure what the forecast is for Tampa at Ray J coming up on Saturday. Hopefully, it'll be fine. But you just don't know. Weather this time of year, there's a lot of lightning, especially up your way, and down here as well in Fort Myers. So I hope I don't jinx it. I just, I'm worried about the weather. That's all. I don't want any weather delays because that was awful last week. I get so jacked and pumped for a 3:30 game, even though it was Ball State, and then they don't start till 6 o'clock.
Nope. That's what. Well, this week it's been 30% chances just for the week alone, but it's supposed to pick up over the weekend. But I'm going to put out a Jimmy Buffett fin right on the south side of my stadium, and I just go whipping around. It'll be just fine.
All right, let's see. Let's get back to because I want to play some preview sound for. I'll have a little bit of time at some point. I'm going to play some preview sound here from Total Sports Prep. That's right. It's on this computer now. I forgot. I have the power. All right, here we go. Patriots and the Jets tonight. Here is Aaron Rodgers. I'm playing in a rivalry game against the Patriots. This is from SNY Network.
I don't look at it like that. I think you need more than a couple games to put a stamp on a rivalry. I'm excited to play in it. I played in arguably the best rivalry in football, the Bears and Packers. It's the oldest, and was a part of turning that thing around. When I first started, we were behind in the all-time series, and when I finished, we were ahead, and the Packers have beat them, 10 straight. So that was fun to be a part of. These two games will be great against the Patriots, but I don't feel like there's going to be a stamp.
Tom Brady never said, well, we've beaten the Buffalo Bills 8,000 times in a row. He just wanted to say, well, we've had their number, but in the past is the past. But Aaron Rodgers goes out of his way to make sure to stick it to Bears fans that what he did. See, that there's another difference right there. Brady never said, we've beaten Buffalo, 21 straight times, whatever it was. He would just say, yeah, we've had their number, but that's in the past. They're a tough team and blah, blah, blah. Instead, Aaron Rodgers makes it about him again. Look what I did. Look what I did when I was with the Packers. We beat the Bears 10 in a row. Aaron Rodgers, George Hallis up in heaven throwing lightning bolts at him. Aaron Rodgers was asked about his feelings of heading into the Jets home opener.
Your anticipation what it could be like Thursday night? Yeah, I feel good about it. It's been a long time since I took the field at Jet Life, so be a lot of emotions for sure. But we're thankfully already into the third game of the season. Played 2 full games. Body feels good. So, as good as you can on a short week. It'll be fun to be out there with the crowd. And night games. I love night games, so excited about it. Not, no one's real crazy about Thursday games, but everybody loves the weekend after the Thursday games.
All right. I was doing that little experiment with what you told me earlier, Angel, about trying to do get my Stream Deck volume. I can control that.
See?
I couldn't tell if that worked or not. I don't know. Let me see. All right, let me. I'm gonna try it again. So when I have it on there, I can just scroll the round pot, and I can make it louder or softer. Right? Correct.
Correct.
And it comes over on number 2.
Correct.
All this technical stuff. All right, let's try it again. Let's keep going, even on Total Sport. Okay, let's continue here. The Patriots. Here is Jacoby Brissett. He's excited about the opportunity.
So what's it like just going through the process of basically like doing heavy walkthroughs and mental reps?
No, it's not my first time doing this, but a lot of excitement going into the Thursday night game. Quick turnaround. All the players' energies was up. Coaches' energies was up. So, we're excited for this opportunity.
All right. Now, I was tinkering with the volume there a little bit, Angel, because I'm still learning this new board over here. So that sounded okay?
Yeah.
As it was getting louder, because some of the cuts are soft here, but I just want to, All right, here's Gerard Mayo on what should have been done to get the win against the Seahawks.
Had an opportunity to go back and go through the film. I had an opportunity to go and meet with the coaches as well in all 3 phases of the game. We just didn't do enough. We didn't execute when we needed to at the end of the half or the end of the game, and it's disappointing. And this is it's a true loss if we don't learn anything from it. We're going to use this as a teaching experience, and so talked about it at the beginning of the season, what success looks like for me, and that's just getting better each and every week. Not only the players, but also the coaches and myself.
Gerard, what do you hope you learn from it?
Yeah, I continually preach that every single play matters. And you can go back in that game and you can find 8 to 10 plays where if we would have just did that, and I hate that, right? Like, if this would have happened, if that would have happened, well, it didn't happen. And so to me, it's, the average play being 5, 6 seconds, whatever it is, like you have to have the ultimate focus and maintain that focus as the game continues on. Now, there were a lot of good things on the film, and I'm not into a good loss or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But there were a lot of good things. I thought we were still able to run the ball, control the line of scrimmage. Even when we were down, I felt like we were in control of the game. One thing, if you offensively, we got to find a way to get the ball down the field. We got to find a way to get the ball in our playmakers' hands so those guys can go out there and make yards. So, and that's on, it's a hybrid. It's on the coaches, myself, starting with myself. And that definitely is something that we have to continue going forward. Defensively, those guys went out there and played hard, had a few 3-and-outs. We have to get turnovers. We have to find a way to get turnovers and get the ball back into our offense's hands. And then I would say special teams-wise, the main thing being that blocked field goal that everyone remembers. But like I said earlier, there were more plays than just the block field goal that cost us this game.
All right, meanwhile, a couple more cuts here. Quentin Williams wants to be there for Jermaine Jackson during his actually, now I'm going to play that. Quentin Williams, he's excited about the Jets' home opener tonight as well.
Just how excited are you to bring this team to its first home game here on Thursday night?
I'm super excited, man. I'm super excited for the fans, man, because we went to Tennessee last weekend. It was probably half of the stadium was Jets fans. So to have our own stadium at a home game where the Jets fans can come and turn up, man, it's going to be unbelievable. So definitely got to be super prepared so we can bring the win. So,
All right, there you have it, little Patriot preview sound. We'll do some more with John Media Perel. Angel, I know, technical question again, I wanted to ask you. So Stream Deck and Total Sports Prep are on the same pot. Is that the deal or not?
Same one.
Okay, same one. So if I turn the volume down, if I'm playing a cut, I want to turn Stream Deck volume down. I really can't because I'll be turning down both, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Good to know, though. Good to know. All right. What I can do is turn down the volume as I come back and talk over music. That's the most important part. Anyway, enough of that stuff. For the best articles in audio, there's only one source that provides everything you need 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It's Total Sports Prep. Our staff combs through the best articles in audio so you don't have to. Sports and non-sports kicker stories will leave you laughing all day long. To get your free trial of Total Sports Prep, contact us at info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. That's info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep, the name says it all. And also, while we're at it, before we get to the Red Sox report, let's talk about Phil Castanetti, one of our new sponsors. Phil Castanetti, Sports World in Saugus, Mass. is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. Don't miss the return of the legend, Bruins goalie Tim Thomas. Tim will be at Sports World on Saturday, October 5th from noon until 2 p.m. Tim will be signing and taking photos. Prices vary, so don't miss this awesome event. Saturday, October 5th at Sports World, 184 Broadway in Saugus. Call 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus, Massachusetts. You be there. All righty. Okay, now, speaking of music, time now for the Red Sox report. Actually, no, you know what? I got a better track. I got a better track than that. I'm gonna do the This Week in Baseball thing. I'm gonna do it from now on when we do the Red Sox report, which of course is always brought to you by Moynihan Lumber. Check out the complete line of Anderson and
doors and windows.
The complete line of Anderson windows and doors at any of their 3 locations in Beverly, North Reading, Massachusetts, and in Plastow, New Hampshire. All right, here we go. Red Sox last night, as soon as I scrolled down with the audio, which I thought I already had. All right, the Red Sox last night. How about Trevor Story returning to action last night for the Red Sox? And of course not, won't play. Of course not.
To me a couple days ago, same thing. Then you have to go back into it and click, and all of a sudden comes back.
This is crazy. None of it's working.
Huh.
I don't understand. Let me try this other cut. Let me try. Sometimes I try something else and get. Damn, I don't know why. All of a sudden it's not working. Hold on. Stand by. I will get this. Damn it. Oh, you son of a gun. That's odd. I just was working with the Patriot stuff. Hang on. I don't know what. Sometimes they don't load properly. Let me see.
Yep.
I don't know what it is. I may have to refresh. Anyway, the Red Sox report last night. I'll just tell you without the audio. Trevor Story homered in the 6th inning, then scored the winning run on Jared Duran's single in the 9th inning. The Red Sox beat the Tampa Bay Rays 2-1 on Wednesday night. He opened in the 8th inning. Story did with a comebacker single off Drew Rasmussen, who's 0-2 after stealing 2nd and 3rd. He scored when Durant grounded his hit to right past a drawn-in infield. All right, so the Red Sox win 2-1. They are back at 500 at 76, and 76 is still hanging around. Up next for the Red Sox, Brayan Bello will pitch tonight, 14-7 with a 4.6 ERA. He starts against Zach Littell, who's 7-9 with a 3.73 ERA. So there you have it. Red Sox report brought to you by Moynihan Lumber. Check out their complete line of Anderson windows and doors at any of their 3 locations in Beverly and North Reading, North Reading, Massachusetts, and Plastow, New Hampshire. All righty. So I'm trying to. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so now I can do that. I got that, Angel. I got that part. I got that part down. I don't know why that the sound won't play all of a sudden off laptop number 2. Can't have that, can we? All right, let's go to the video. Let's go back to my Twitter video before we take a break. And Trevor Lawrence will join us. Then I might have to reset. What's Rick say? You can read that, Angel, if you like.
He says, Philly seems to get a bad rap quite a bit, yet just this morning I'm reading an article about the Detroit Lions where Dan Campbell had to sell his house for security reasons when the Lions lose. And I was reading that yesterday as well. Also, a fan in Detroit was shot and killed at a game following a tailgate party, which is, as much as they said it was pretty quiet up there. That's what I heard. But yeah, Dan Campbell. So people found out where Dan lives. And now because he's scared of what could happen to him and his family, they decide now they have to sell their multi-million-dollar estate and move elsewhere. And he said, it's a shame that the world that we live in. But hey, listen, you guys, everybody was okay with it before, right? Until when? Until it happens to you.
Yeah, and in this country now, there's no city or town that seems to be safe.
Nope.
Unfortunately. Crazy. All right, let's before we go into break, let's go in with something fun. This is funny. This is from Pat McAfee's show yesterday, and it's the second one down. Angel, Pat McAfee. I live in this city, and this is just I believe they're talking about Chicago here, and them threatening to move from Soldier Field up 30 miles up the road. But this is hysterical exchange on Pat McAfee's show yesterday that I think you'll absolutely enjoy.
Colts are going to start winning. Now, remember, we're doing the right things. Football gods are going to bless us.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bears on Sunday. I mean, if we don't get the Bears done, this city.
It's a must win,
city's
brother.
If
who don't get
gotta
have it.
You say we? Yeah, we.
Oh, so
you
root for the Colts?
So
you're
rooting for the Colts? The city of Indianapolis.
We get loud in the loud house. What we do.
Multiple
D-Bugs.
teams.
Do I live in the city? Do I live in this city?
The amount of multiple team fans in this building right now.
It's disgusting.
You heard it.
Disgusting.
You heard
It's
the pre-show. 'Cause
It's not me.
There's a lot of fakers once these mics. Our team.
You want us to go in the suite and boo the Colts? Is that what we're supposed to do?
Do you pay for the stadium for the teams to root for? Because I pay
we're paying.
for the goddamn
We're paying
stadium in this
downtown,
city,
damn it.
motherfucker. Okay, so
Yeah.
I want my fucking
God
money.
damn it.
I want my fucking money's worth. All right? You don't pay for the Charger Stadium or the Eagles Stadium. I pay for this fucking shit. Get him. All right? Get him. What I'm seeing is bullshit.
My stomach's cramping. Jesus Christ.
You were promised 2 Super Bowls.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. 2 Super Bowls this decade for my owners.
Yeah.
I get it, brother.
You are a citizen.
Yep.
We're fucking 0-2, man.
Thank you for paying your taxes.
Oh, my money.
Coach Steichen.
I want it back. Look at you, Jim. Look at you, Jim. I want my fucking money back.
Oh, shit.
I want my money back.
Woo. Son of a bitch.
Where Patriots had in their week 1. The first dome.
I love that move. I wear my team's gear in there, yeah.
But he does cheer when good things happen.
I want them to do well for the city.
It's good for the city.
My fucking investment doesn't go to shit. I think he's a Patriot guy. He likes the Patriots, but I think he's a cult guy. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what it was, but that was a funny conversation. All right. It is Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. Quick break. Trevor Harris going to join us from WQAM in Miami, and we'll get his thoughts on what he went through last weekend, because he was there like 9 o'clock in the morning and had to stay and produce that game up until he was there about 12, 13 hours. And then we'll get his thoughts on coming up on the Hurricanes and USF coming up on Saturday night at 7 o'clock at Ray J. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Chicken and Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu.
Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are. Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie. So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family. If it's dysfunctional.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Pete Sheppard Show. It's Thursday, which means it's almost Friday, which means we got football tonight, and we're getting even closer and closer and closer to the Miami South Florida game coming up at Ray J on Saturday at 7 o'clock on ESPN. And joining us right now, and it's kind of been a regular thing, which I'm glad he's able to do it. But one of my new favorite people to talk to every week, Trevor Harris from WQAM in Miami, executive producer, big-time producer for a whole bunch of stuff, everything that goes on over there. Plus, he's the post-game show host for the Miami Dolphins. A whole lot of other stuff. All right, so here we go. Tell me about your day last week. It's and thank you for keeping up with my texts, as people were asking me through you exactly when the Miami Hurricanes game was going to start. I had people at the game. My friend Lou was at the game, and his buddies. They're standing. They wouldn't let him back in. The Gators go. Then the Gators were going through. I said, well, I'm watching Gainesville too. They're letting people back in and sitting. It seemed like a tale of two cities. I'm like, what the hell's going on? But you, Trevor Harris, you had to sit there for 13 hours plus. You got there, 9:15, whatever it was. So what was your day like last Saturday, and how frustrating was it for you?
9:30 I got there. Pregame was at 11, and I knew one thing. I was like, I saw weather was in the forecast. Like, if the sports gods could be cool today and just let this weather go elsewhere, please. Like, take it to Gainesville. I don't want it anywhere near the Canes game. But the sports guy's like, no, you must go through your first ever lightning delay. So I had to go through a nice 2-hour lightning delay. And I will say this.
More than that. It's like 2.5.
It felt long. It felt long. And I was like looking at it, I was like, what can I watch and make sure that nothing will go off? And also, I was like,
DirecTV came back right before the game.
Yes, I was so thankful because I had my buddy, Danny Small, text me. He's like, yo, DirecTV and ESPN is back. And I was like, I was in the car and I was driving through Hollywood, Florida. I was like, right. Anyways, and that was the first thing I checked before anything. I was like, let me before the sound gets checked. Let me see if ESPN works. So it's a real thing, and I made sure it worked. And I was like, okay, cool. I can watch College Game Day because I love Big Noon. Anyways, that was entertaining for me for the past couple of weeks. Anyways.
Now the biggest thing, what did you do for fill-in programming? I mean, Joe and company, you can only yap so long. Do you start like replaying interviews from the week? I mean, but it's hard to do that too because you don't really know when you're being told. I mean, you were probably told, I'm sure you were being told everything correctly, but a lot of other people were guessing. So what was that like? What did you do for fill programming?
We had extra programming slots of like replayed interviews and stuff. So we had like all the coordinators, and we played the Mario Cristobal show in case people didn't hear it from the network program. So during the second delay, we replayed Mario and stuff. And then we had Danny Rabinowitz and Alex Dono were talking. Then we had Christy Chirinos on from Miami Hurricanes. She was talking. She was at the game. We had from the AP Tim Reynolds on. So it was Tim Reynolds, Hollywood, and Christy Chirinos and Alex Dono. So it was like a full house of people just talking for almost 2 hours. And only commercial break we had was the station ID. So,
oh boy, really?
Yes, because we didn't want to mess with the affiliates' first breaks and stuff. That's why.
Wow. And Joe had to stay there for all the interviews too, Joe Zagacki.
Joe Zagacki was just like, they passed it over to Hollywood, and this is like Joe Zagacki and everybody else found some place to sit and just relax for a while.
Yeah, go eat some food.
Yeah. It's one thing I've learned. Make sure you have enough food now for these games because anything could happen now. And I will say
how was that for you? Did you bring any? I mean, I don't know what your cafeteria situation is like over at QAM, and imagine I won't say it, but at least do you have free coffee available at least? Or
I brought
vending machine.
There's a vending machine.
Oh God!
The thing is for me is trying to get someone to cover the board so I can go do stuff is very hard. That's why. And I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna be miserable, I'm gonna starve myself. So I had like food and stuff. I ran out of water. I had like 2 Powerades, and I had like another my drink I had for my pre-workout, my post-workout drink. So I had that laying around, and I had pretzel goldfish, and so very New England of me. And I had Smuckers and Crustables too.
Very healthy for a growing, strapping young man like yourself. What about water? You have access to water over there? They pay for the water, don't they?
We have water, thank God, at least.
No coffee?
No, I don't do coffee during these midday games. I really don't like it. Huh?
Is it available?
It is available. I just don't like coffee during the midday games at all. I like coffee in the morning. That's a thing. Like
me too. I like coffee in the morning too. Although I used to have one when I was doing 2 to 6. I would have one before the show at 1:30. But I'm usually I'm just a 1-cup guy. Keurig, different flavors.
Oh yeah, I had the Nespresso machine back in college. We had an Nespresso machine in college. That thing was clutch, anyways. I'll say that.
You have one in your dorm room, an espresso machine?
It was our college house in our junior and senior year. We had one. So
where was that again?
Muskingum University. Our one buddy's from Chicago was like, we got an espresso machine. I was like, what? I was like, all right, we'll take the word. And they gave us Sunday ticket too. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, our buddy's father worked for DirecTV, and he's like, I'm going to set up the account. You're going to get everything. You had the NBA, you had the NHL, you had the MLB, and you had everything. It was like, this is what you get when you have people from Michigan, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Northeast, like myself, and a guy from Columbus, Ohio. You get
Oh God.
you get a rad tag group for football Sundays.
Is he an Ohio State guy? Even though he didn't go there?
Unfortunately, yes, he's an
Of course.
Ohio State guy, but we all the other guys were Michigan fans, Pitt Panther fans. I was a University of Miami guy.
Yeah.
And the other guys were University of Illinois guys. How about that?
Oh, that's cool. No, they're playing tomorrow night. Big game tomorrow night.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's get into a little bit of the Hurricanes and USF. And Angel Martinez is going to be there covering the game.
All right,
up in the press box, but you will be in the confines of WQAM studios.
Pre-game starting at 3 p.m. By the way.
Yes, and Gas Pump Guy says, Pete, do you think this is the first real test for Miami? USF played good against Bama. Yeah, I think Florida winning in that environment opening day was an incredible test with the heat and 90,000 people. So, yeah, but this is another test, obviously. I mean, Ball State put up a fight for 30 seconds last week.
Mm-hmm.
And
more like 15 seconds because they couldn't handle the post humidity of a rainstorm.
Yeah, no, exactly. But no, I think it's going to be. You saw the fans this week, or they bought up the last 15,554 tickets, so they're going to open up the Upper Bowl for a USF game for the first time in a long time. I still think the place is going to be packed with a lot of University of Miami fans. Hurricane fans.
That's what I've been told by people. By the way, there's a lot of Canes fans making the trip up. This is going to be a takeover. I've been told by people.
Wow. Now they have Byron Brown is a real good quarterback. Everybody's going by how well they played against Alabama the last 2 years, and rightly so. They've matched up well against it, but I take that stuff with a grain of salt sometimes. It's like Kentucky playing Georgia.
Yeah.
Kentucky plays Georgia for whatever reason. They play them tough. Nearly had the win last week, that 13-12, which I love games like that, by the way, because they're far and few between anymore. You know, I remember Alabama LSU a few years ago, 9-6 game, and I miss those games sometimes where defense, where you're like every play really means something. It's not 45-40, something like that.
Yeah, I don't need a shootout every day. Give me a nice 9-6 game at least, like the LSU game or the national title game between LSU and Bama in 2012. That was perfect, anyways.
We know a lot about what the Canes can do, but Byron Kelly and company, Naquan Wright is running back, and Kelly Jr., wide receiver Sean Atkins, Abdur Rahim Yassin. So Brown, by the way, the quarterback, tops USF in passing, 448 yards and rushing yards. So got to be aware of that. 254.
Oh, yeah.
He's had 2 touchdown passes, 2 running touchdowns, and no interceptions, surprisingly, although that's going to change, I think. That's going to change. And Wright's rush for 188 yards, 5.7 average, a couple of touchdowns. Joyner's rush for 220 yards and a 7.3 average and 4 touchdowns. So, yeah, considering what now we know of Florida, this is probably going to be their toughest test thus far.
Oh, yeah.
In a very somewhat hostile environment, but I don't think overly hostile.
I don't think it'll be overly hostile. I also go by if the FAU game from last year, that was kind of a shootout for USF. I look at that game as well because you never know what you can get out of that offense and stuff. There's sometimes they can score points and like do it, but there's sometimes they stall out on drives. So this is the one game I'm very intrigued with. It's also USF and Miami. I always say, I said this to Josie, like all these teams need to play each other. All the Florida teams need to play each other. I think it'll be so much fun, and you have the true rivalries of all the schools going after it. I think this is good for football in South Florida and Tampa.
Absolutely. And the thing is, you look at what the renovations that are coming for USF, going to be a huge recruiting tool for them. That renovation in the stadium. And Angel's close to the situation too, so he knows. He covers a lot of the athletic teams over there. So, in fact, Angel, chime in here a second. You've been close. You've been talking to people up there this week in that area. I mean, the buzz has got to be, I'll say, this is going to be like a national championship game for USF. It really is. Now, they can't play like they did last week against Southern Miss early on. They fell down. That team's bad. Southern Miss is bad.
Yeah.
You fall down 14-0 to Miami, they're going to clobber you. But, this is probably the biggest game in USF since they were nationally ranked many, many years ago. And they were like, second or third at one point?
Yeah, it was like 2007 maybe when Nate Allen was playing.
That's right.
This is definitely one of the bigger games. I mean, they're looking forward to Memphis as well, but this is definitely the biggest one that they saw on the calendar as a matchup for them where they stand. Because don't forget, they came off a bowl win last year. So it's like everything else. Do you get called out for, being a fluke season last year? We end up coming up new coach and you end up pulling off the bowl. But this is the biggest one that USF is looking at. I mean, definitely for the season. You figure it's going to be a packed house, if not sold out by now. That's
Alex Golish, Angel Sutter. Alex Golish, the USF head coach, said it's the biggest game in the 28-year season history of Bulls football. And he's looking forward to the crowd, which is going to be well over 70,000 standing room only.
Yeah, and you got to figure. I mean, you're like you said, coming off of Bama. I mean, they start with them for sure, but this one, that's one that's probably been on his calendar. And then you add the success that Miami's had this year. I mean, you got to think about it. If USF can walk away with this win, it's going to be tough. Don't get me wrong, because as Trevor mentioned, when FAU came into town, but you walk away with this win. I mean, this definitely propels you to a new level USF, but then also add as well, they broke ground on a new stadium. That's going to be a big get for all the local folks around here. But I mean, this could be a different level for USF football.
Yeah, and the other guy to worry about, thanks, Angel, and the other guy to worry about, you've seen, by the way, he came over from Purdue, and watch him. He has 9 catches and he averages 13 yards a catch this year. Again, Southern Miss, the Bethune-Cookman game that they blew them out in doesn't really count, no different than what the Hurricanes did to Florida A&M. So a lot of those numbers can be trumped up from when you play in FCS teams. But overall, look, the Hurricanes are superior on both sides of the ball at quarterback. And I don't think we're going to have any type of Middle Tennessee State crap happen again with this team. I don't see it, but I'm sure Mario's crystal ball has drilled it into their head. Do not walk into this game all king shit, high and mighty, thinking you're going to just win by 40 points.
He said that on air. Like, we're taking this team very serious. He said it during Hotline and stuff. He's like, we ain't taking this team serious. We're taking this team very seriously. We don't want to beat Alabama or anybody on their map anyways. We don't want this to be like a 13-6 game or 13, 10 game it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and again, this is the Hurricanes are favored by 16.5. The total is 65. I think I could see. And by the way, this is the first time Miami and UCF have met since 2013. The Hurricanes won 49-21 in Tampa back then. I could see that being very similar.
Yeah,
I really
could see that. I could see this being like I would like a shootout, but I don't want it to be a crazy shootout. So
more highlights we'll have to produce.
I don't know who's doing highlights this week. That's a better question. We got to figure that out, actually. So
I forget to usually do that, or you just run the board.
So it's usually 3 people. The main guy who runs the board is out the past couple of weeks. He doesn't come back till the start of real ACC play, which is
what?
Yes, he's on
the contract. Just ACC games.
No, he's one of those guys. I like going to concerts. That's why. So,
oh, Jesus,
I know. So he's not going back till the Cal game, and I told him like I'm out next Friday night because I'm going to Tampa and stuff for the weekend. So.
Well, that's good because I'll actually have the show next Friday, but we'll have you on Thursday again if you're okay with that. Yeah, next Friday, we just adopted a 6-year-old Scotty Terrier, so we're flying to South Carolina next Friday after the show to grab her and then drive back to Fort Myers. So we're excited. But the best part is my flight lands at 6:15. The hotel's only a few minutes away, and Miami plays next Friday night against Virginia Tech.
Yep, on ESPN. How about that?
Yep. That's at Hard Rock too, right?
That is at Hard Rock, yes.
Yeah. That should be it better be close to a packed house for that game.
I hope it is. I don't want to go after the fans right now, the Canes bros and stuff. Like, guys, the team's good. Let's get it going,
Well, they certainly traveled to Gainesville. There were a couple thousand, more than a couple thousand there when I was there a few weeks ago. And certainly they're going to make some noise at Ray J. That's going to be something. I feel badly for the Buccaneers who have to play the next day. Actually, right? They at home. The Buccaneers, I think,
are home versus Denver Broncos.
Yeah, and it's less than 12 hours. That game's not going to get over until 10. They got to redo the field. Probably resod some of it. They're going to do the end zones again. Those guys, again, the Bull Gang crew, they're going to be there all freaking night.
Yeah, that's what the Hard Rock is like all the time anyways. But the only difference is they make one end zone look like Miami, so they don't have to change it every week anyways. So
lazy bastards.
I know. That's what you get at Hard Rock Field at Start Stadium. We should just knock that place up, just put a roof over it, no problem. Make it look like a spaceship landed in Miami.
So what's your day like Saturday? You get to the studio when 3, 4?
I'll probably get pregame starts at 3. I'll probably get there at 1. Honestly, start getting up all the sound in there. Make sure to test everything good and stuff. And I think our pregame show host is going to be in Tampa for the game, and our other guy is going to be in studio. So he's a USF alumni. That's why. So
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah,
well, that's good. If you get stuck, Angel will be there, so you can. Somebody doesn't show up or gets arrested in the parking lot or doesn't get in. Or
I think you'll be fine anyways. You got a nice media credential, thankfully.
really,
Oh, yeah.
really good. The other debate we're having today, beginning of not a debate, but I don't know if you saw Orlovsky and crew the other day, yesterday on ESPN, and is a very. I always say to people, it is one of the most passionate debates you could ever have.
Mm-hmm.
More than religion, more than politics. I don't know if you listened to me earlier today.
I woke up at 7:45, so I missed it.
It's a conversation that produces hatred and separatism and regionalism. It's one of the hottest topics and most passionate topics in the world. Is what or what not to put on a hot dog. And I'm like to each his own. I'm like to each his own.
Mm-hmm.
But I want, Angel, is it possible? Can we pull that video up so we could? So it's a short video. It's only like a 30
I
seconds.
enjoyed having ESPN blacked out because I didn't have to see any of this stuff from the past couple of weeks. I'll say that for sure.
It's on
I missed it. I missed to go back to the dispute now. I just want to be back on Saturdays.
It's the third story down, Angel, and it's down a lot. And I want you to listen to this and watch this video, and then we'll respond because some of the reaction stuff. I don't know what these people were exposed to in their life, or palate wise or whatever. But here we go. They're debating about hot dogs.
Couple things. Hot dogs are better on the grill than they are broiled or boiled.
I agree.
I'll
give you that. 100%. Broiled.
2, they're actually at their best when they are cut into small pieces and added into macaroni and cheese.
Ridiculous. Oh, that's childish.
3, if you really want to have a great hot dog, you grill it, put
disgusting.
a piece of American cheese on the roll, then that, and ketchup.
Wow. I've never heard of worse ways to eat a hot dog.
Buddy, you never cut up a hot dog and put it in mac and cheese?
Buddy, I haven't. No, never.
Not even
Buddy, that sounds terrible. I don't think I've ever even heard of it.
Well,
Dan,
you eat like a child. Couple things.
Now, I don't understand how foreign, why it's so foreign to cut up a hot dog into macaroni and cheese. I think families all over the country do that, and it's especially for little kids. I think
that's Chef Boyardee right there, anyways.
We can debate condiments till hell freezes over, and I understand that. And I was saying that, like the Chicago dogs, they dump everything but the kitchen sink on it.
Mm-hmm.
But where do you? I mean, there are those who are adamantly, you can't put ketchup on a hot dog. You're insane. You should be deported to the moon or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I like hot dogs a whole lot of different ways. But I don't know. Where do you stand on the hot dog? When you have yours, what do you like?
I like it on the grill. Give me a piece of American cheese and pepper jack cheese, ketchup. You're good to go. And I'm really ashamed of Shelton, Connecticut's own Dan Orlovsky right now. So he's putting shame to Connecticut right now. This is why he's in Shelton, Connecticut. That's New Haven County. That's New Haven County stuff. That's what we don't do in Fairfield County. I'll say that for sure. That's coming from a kid who was born at Yale New Haven Hospital. So he has to leave the state of Connecticut for one day. Then he has to go apply for reapplication for it.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, look. To me, and there's this place called, which I've just found out is shut down this month, Wienerama in Oakland Avenue in Cranston, Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
And it was basically the guy would have hot dogs all the way up his arm, buns, and it would just be a beautiful dog with some ground beef and onions on top and a little celery sauce. That's it. And you didn't need anything else. And you did not need anything else. But for me, I never used to be a relisher. As long as there's raw onions on my dog and celery salt, I can about go with any condiment. I think if you're putting cheese on a hot dog, and I've done the American cheese thing, I don't like it. You need the Cheese Whiz. You got to use the bottle of Cheese Whiz.
Okay.
You got to use the bottle of Cheese Whiz like you would a Philly cheesesteak.
Oh yeah. I'll say one other thing. This is in Ohio. They love stadium mustard. I don't like that. No. On their hot dogs. No stadium mustard on hot dogs.
Give me French's. Give me a spicy
Heinz.
brown mustard, something like that. And I like all the condiments on the bottom of the bun, and just have the hot dog on top, or maybe some onions on top, if not the bun. But I like the ketchup, mustard, relish, whatever you're going to put on the bottom. Put the dog on top, and then you got to have, to me, the essence of a great hot dog, Frankfurter, Wiener, whatever you want, is a pinch of celery salt at the end. You can't overdo it because your tongue will burn with celery salt. I mean, sometimes you overdo it with celery salt. Just a pinch all the way down, and you're golden. But
I like that. I like your way more because you can put stuff at the bottom, so it's not spilling on top of the dog.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be on the bottom. Otherwise, you go to bite it, especially if you're at a game, and it goes all over your shirt. And
with a jersey, so.
Yeah, no question about it. What did Gas Pump Guy say?
What did he say?
That's how I grew up with the mac and cheese hot dogs cut up. Inside of it, that was a staple in my house. I don't know why. Was it Jason McCourty who's acted stunned?
Yeah.
Devin?
One of those. I'm going to say it's Jason McCourty.
But who hasn't had hot dogs cut up in mac and cheese? I mean, people have bacon and mac and cheese all the time. I've put prosciutto and mac and any kind of,
I had mac and cheese last night also.
The what?
I had mac and cheese last night, actually. I made that for dinner. With some bacon and stuff. It was perfect.
Yeah, you put bacon. What's the difference? Any kind of sauce, any kind of flavor. Haven't you ever grounded up a hamburger and put it in mac and cheese?
Yeah, hamburger help.
I saw this on Diners, Drivers, and Dives.
Absolutely.
I see mac and cheese burgers. Mac and cheese burgers.
That is good stuff. If you put a little hot sauce on it, you're good to go.
A little sriracha.
No, I do the Louisiana hot sauce.
Oh, even that? Okay, that works too.
That works well, or the Texas PD one. Those are my two hot sauces I do now. Those are I used to do Frank's Red Hot on everything. I tried those two and it changed my world anyways. So
I've seen almost fist fights break out among friends when talking about what you should or what you should not put on a hot dog. And the Chicago people, they're their own separate world.
Yes,
they put I don't like pickles, and when I see lettuce and tomato on a hot dog, stop it. No. No. I mean, go have a salad. I don't want a salad on my hot dog.
I said this when I went to Wrigley Field. I just have a regular hot dog, just plain hot dog.
What?
And they looked at me stunned. I was like, I'm from the Northeast. Just let me be. I was like, we'll let this slide one day. Like, thank you.
Oh man, crazy. All right, Trevor, we'll let you go. You might get called into the studio when you say. Oh, I wanted to ask you too, because I thought Shefty had put a great point about Adrian Wojnarowski retiring yesterday and going to St. Bonaventure for a very minimal job, by the way. It's not because of money, that's for sure. But I was saying, all these guys are on call 24/7. I said it's a lot like, producers can be that way too, because the producers do so much behind the scene to make the talent look really good. And they have to cover for the talent if they mess up going into breaks, in and out of breaks. You know what I'm saying? Talk about all that stuff. But I mean, doing this, what you do, and you never know. You're probably not that you're an insider per se, but you're in a job where you could get the call at any second, right, to come in.
Yeah, I really could. Like, there's lately, like during when it was Cup final week, the Cup finals, I was like, we need help on the morning show. I was like, yeah, I'll be there. Give me that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll take doing those morning shows. I'll get up at 4 a.m. I have no problem. So I gotta do that tomorrow. Actually, I gotta help out the morning show. So.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. I'll be on the Joe Rose show. So you'll help me. Maybe you hear an update from me or not. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be on myself. So what time's Joe come on? 6?
6 a.m. to
I won't do that.
10.
I'm up at like 4:35 every morning, but I refuse to do 6 o'clock anymore. I refuse. I almost think in terrestrial radio, to be honest with you, Trevor, just an observation that 6 to 7 a.m., I think those days are done in terrestrial radio. I know program directors around the country don't want to hear it, but 7 to 10 is much better.
I hear you.
I think you get more out of a 3-hour show than a 4 hour. I can't tell you the difference over most of my career, except for doing this, was a 4-hour show, whether it be an afternoon drive most of my life or a morning drive 6 to 10. It is such a difference in a good way of doing 7 to 10 as opposed to 6 to 10.
Hey, at least it's not a 5-hour show like Mike Francis and Chris Russo did from 1 to 6.
I did that myself and John Wallach did 5-hour shows for a couple of years on WEI on the weekends. We used to do 1 to 6 all the time, and it was crazy. All right, my man.
John Wallach, where you at, as I like to say.
Exactly. All right, my friend. Have fun tomorrow morning on the morning show on QAM, and we will talk to you soon. Trevor, great job, and have fun producing the game with USF in Miami on a Saturday night from Ray J. We'll talk soon, my friend. All the best.
We will go Canes.
Yes, go Canes. All about you. You. All right. Quick break here. Hour number 3 coming up. John Mita Perrell is going to join us. We have a lot to discuss. Huge game. One of the biggest games in BC for the last, 15 years or so, as they host Michigan State coming up. And not only that, it's the red bandana game with and a tribute, obviously, and in recognition of Wells Crowder. We'll get into all of that. Coming up next on the Pete Sheppard Show, hour number 3 continues here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jim and the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu.
Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
For the best in college football and NFL talk, check out The Pete Sheppard Show, 7 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday.
And welcome back to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. John Meter-Perrell, voice of Boston College football, and of course, the ACC Network. You see him call basketball and baseball all the time across some of the other ESPN platforms. He will be joining me in just a couple of minutes. Huge game coming up with the Eagles coming up tomorrow night, or Saturday night, I should say. Feels like Friday, coming up on Saturday night. At the Heights, 45,000 plus, sold out as BC will take on an undefeated Michigan State team at 3-0. It should be a lot of fun. Yes, and that was another tribute to Angel. Send me an Angel. A great one-hit wonder by far, by Real Life, the group Real Life, which I don't know in real life if they had any other hits except Send Me an Angel. Speaking of Angel, well, Angel, you're looking forward to you're going to the game. You're covering the game Saturday night. That is great because I know they were sort of. I'm glad that they finally gave you credentials since you do so much for USF on the whole. So I'm glad that that they respected you and what you do for them, and you'll be up there on Saturday. That'll be that should be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great time. It's always fun because where we park is right just past where all the tailgating is. Which is really nice because you can walk through, even if you get there early, which I'll end up being there early anyway, so I don't like to arrive anywhere late or be close to it, but it's going to be a great time. Great. The USF puts on an amazing tailgate party out there. Outside of Ray J, the block party, they do a really good job. DJs, and I'm not too sure if DJ Dodge would end up being there, Matt Dodge. From Street Lace Promos. I'm not too sure. I think they are because I think they finally got the nod for it, but it's going to be a really good time out there on Saturday.
Alrighty. Just like that, there he is, the one and only John Meter-Perrell, the voice of BC football. Eagles coming up, a big game this week with an emotional game as well. It's the red bandana game coming up tonight. Meter, good morning. How are you? Thanks for taking a few.
Good morning. Buenas tardes. How is everybody?
It's not afternoon yet.
Oh, excuse me.
You try to play Jerry Remy, the late great Jerry Remy. It's not. No. Buenas tardes is good afternoon.
Yeah, well, it feels like afternoon, Pete, up here.
Yeah, it's Buenos Dias.
Buenos Dias. How do you know?
Buenos Dias. You know, I figured I'd start with the original.
Buongiorno in Italian, but how do you say it in Yiddish?
Yiddish.
Oh man! All right, let's get right into it.
Zeigesund. You know what Zeigesund means?
Is that a cartoon?
No, it means good health.
Oh, right? Okay, like salud. But
anytime you leave someone, Pete, who's Jewish, say Zeigesund.
Zeigesund. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I know that. My mom actually being full-blooded Italian, spoke Italian. She also spoke Yiddish because she was younger, she worked with a Jewish dentist for a long time, and we knew the entire thing. That's almost the same culture anyway, you know. Yeah, our food's a little bit better, but other than
we're all related.
Yeah. All right. How excited are you for this game coming up at the Heights? First of all, let's recap a little bit. I know there are no such thing as moral victories. I get that. But this is a case where I thought that was a hell of an effort by the Eagles and a really fun game to watch. I'm sure it was a fun game to call. I know the result at the end wasn't what Eagles fans and what you wanted, but that was a hell of a game, Meter. It really was. It just shows if they can compete like that with the number 6 team in the country, nobody is going to want to play this team the rest of the way.
Yeah, it was. It was one of those woulda, coulda, shoulda games that we see at least a couple times a year. I think the problem I had with it, Pete, is that they blew a lead and you're up 14-3. And I know that's a lot to ask to hold on to the number 6 team in the country, and they were kind of sleepwalking in Missouri a little, especially with their passing game. But then they got Luther Burden involved, and we saw what he did They held the ball for the majority of the second half. BC, to its credit, scored that late touchdown. The game turned on a couple plays. One, the interception by Castellanos in the second quarter. He threw that thing in the middle of the field. It floated on him. And he said by his own account he was terrible in the game. A little harsh. He threw 3 touchdowns, but didn't play a great game. And then they kicked that 56-yard field goal at the buzzer.
That was huge. I thought that was a game changer right there. I thought when you look back at it, I'm like, geez, if they missed that kick, I couldn't believe he made it, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah. I mean, he replaced the thicker kicker, Harrison Mevis, who you loved. It was 240 pounds. And that kid, Blake Craig's got a leg. So Missouri, Missouri's clearly got balance. The run game was a problem, and that was a problem for BC last year, stopping the run. So I know Bill O'Brien's concerned about that. They didn't tackle well. They took him to the mat. You're right, no doubt. No doubt, a lot to build on, a lot to build around, a lot of good teaching moments. I was at practice yesterday. Excellent practice. They looked really good. And O'Brien agreed. He thought it was outstanding. So they got a big emotional game coming up Saturday night. And good chance to get back on track.
I wanted to get your thought. We'll get into that in a second. There's a lot to discuss with this game and the red bandana game, and it's unbelievable, that story that a lot of people may not know about. But what are your overall thoughts of Columbia, Missouri, and the stadium and the atmosphere and everything else? You've been to a lot of big time stadiums all over the country. What'd you think about your first experience in Missouri?
It was good. It was a little different. It's obviously remote. It's a land grant university. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Syracuse. Kind of reminded me a little bit of the town that is. Clemson-esque. Stadium was loud. Great student section. They're energized. They're putting $250 million in that place. It needs it. It's old. But kind of drive right up to the stadium, sprouts out of nowhere. What you consider a classic Midwest stadium. So yeah, it was fun, man. It was fun. It would
the food?
Probably be in my top 10.
Well, how was the food? Inside and outside the stadium.
Inside the stadium was okay, but it was painful because the line was 3 deep.
What?
I was sitting there with
how many people are covering the game?
Don't you know who I am? Don't you know who I think I am?
Well, was it free food for the media?
Free food for the media, of course.
Yeah, what did they have? What were they serving?
We had a little breakfast buffet, and then at halftime I couldn't get anything, so I had a granola bar that I brought with me.
Oh, Christ! That's unbelievable. Don't you have a lackey that can go stand in line for you guys? You and Pete?
Called Chacha lackey?
No, not Chach. He's got to sit there and run the board. Isn't there somebody else? Don't they usually provide the opposing team, provide somebody to sort of be a runner for you guys?
You know who my spotter was this game?
I'm afraid to ask. Who? Nobody.
He's not a lackey either. He is the legendary Major Garrett of CBS News, formerly of Fox News.
Get out!
Yes.
Is that a retirement job?
No, Major was, He is still at CBS, chief Washington correspondent, and he's a Missouri grad. He's on the board of the journalism school. So he was there for a couple meetings, and we have mutual friends, and I reached out to him on a lark and said, hey, you want to work with us in the booth? He said, are you kidding me? This would be awesome. So he did. And Major was great. We're now BFFs.
No.
And he wasn't the lackey, but we did get a little nachos, Pete, afterwards. That was from Chach. But the night before, we went to a place. If you're ever in Columbia, Missouri, check out Addison's. Pete Kendall and his lovely wife were there. Had a good talk with them, and they have.
I think we were talking about that place on College Game Day, actually, when they cut to, or on SEC Network, as they cut to Alyssa Lang on the field. I think I actually think it was her specifically that mentioned Addison's.
Yes, Addison's is terrific. Bud's Barbecue is very good too. But I talked to Alyssa Lang, your friend, before the game, and she's from Charlotte, North Carolina. You love when this happens. She says, oh, my God, I remember you from Charlotte. I used to listen to you on the way home from school when I was 12.
Yeah, because you worked at WFNZ, if I'm not mistaken. Is that it, back in the day?
With Mark Packer in the afternoons. And her dad
and you were scolding and molding young broadcast minds like Alyssa Lang, who's one of the best in the business.
She's very good.
No, see what influence you have on people. You didn't even realize it.
Yeah, I'm going to take full credit. Clearly. It's all about, I'm doing that in the classroom now anyway at BC, so I might as well continue to take credit.
Well, before we get into some of the X's and O's of this big BC game coming up, and I want you to tell everybody what a special thing with Wells Crowther and the Red Bandana game. And for those of you who don't know, it's one of they should make a movie about this if they haven't already. It should be, because it is one of the most incredible, outside of going to war, but this kind of was like war. This is one of the most incredible acts of bravery I've ever heard, and it affected everybody around the country. Obviously, expected it was everybody around New England. It affected them in unbelievable ways. But go ahead and tell the story, John, about the Red Bandana game, the origin of it.
Yeah, Walls Crowther, BC grad, played lacrosse there, graduated in '99, was working at a New York brokerage firm on one of the high levels of the one of the World Trade Center buildings, and he, had the deep-seated heroism of a guy that you can't even define. This is off the charts. He would he saved at least 20 lives by going up and down the stairs.
He got out and then went back in. Correct. Yeah.
He went up and down the stairs, saving lives, literally carrying people on his back. People that were, dealing with smoke inhalation. He was dealing with everything, the frenzy of the moment. But he was not going to take no for an answer and to get people out. And he calmed people as well. That was an amazing part of it. He was such a calming presence for them to make sure that they were going to be okay. And he had this in him anyway, because he was a volunteer firefighter in West Nyack, New York, which is some of the West Nyack, New York firemen will be at the game on Saturday night.
That's great.
They're going to be part of the pregame ceremonies. And they worked with Wells when he was younger. He always wanted to be a fireman, and so that was kind of in his DNA. And he had a chance to get out, but he decided to go back up again, and he never came down. And just heartbreaking on so many levels. He will always be remembered by so many around the world. Tom Rinaldi wrote a great book called "The Man in the Red Bandana." It's everywhere on social media with Ed Burns' 13-minute feature on ESPN that's been shown.
I wish they'd make that into a movie. That book into a movie. Some networks should do that.
I think they may have. I don't know if they've tried. I don't know if they just don't want. The family doesn't want that. I don't know.
That's understandable. They don't want to exploit his death. But I mean, it's just one of the biggest acts of heroism, bravery that
it defies the BC motto: service unto others. It's a Jesuit philosophy. He defines that.
Yeah.
But
men and women for others.
Absolutely.
Wasn't there something else? Somebody had posted, I could have sworn about a week or maybe less than that on Twitter. And they had put it, because I really didn't know too much about it until it was almost like they put a little personal documentary together. It wasn't that long. It might have been like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, but it started explaining the reason why it's so big in the upcoming game. If I find it, I'll put it up a little bit later on, but they did a really good job in the explanation about the Red Bandana and how much it meant.
Well, I know Boston College on the Facebook page, and I'm sure on their webpage, put a whole, there was a good 2.5 minute reel.
I tweeted that.
About it. Yeah.
Yeah, I tweeted that as well yesterday about a bunch of players talking about what the game means to them.
Yeah.
And, they always, even if you go to BC, most of them know what the Red Bandana game is. You talk to anybody around the country now, they pretty much know what the game is. And Bill O'Brien talked about that with me yesterday. And, obviously this is his first year at BC. He Zoomed with Allison Crowther, Wells' mother, a couple months ago, talked to her for a long time. She's going to join us at halftime of our game.
So they're going to be at the game, and the family's going to be of the family will be at the game.
Father unfortunately passed away. He was a terrific guy, Jefferson Crowther. We talked to him many, many times. This is the 10th playing of the game.
Yeah.
And every year they come back. Every year we talk to them at halftime. And their strength is incredible. And Allison is just a rock. His mom. And sisters are usually there too. They have kids now, and just what a story. And if the players can't feed off that emotion, it's something's wrong.
And I know it's obviously going to be a big radio broadcast. We'll get into the X's and O's in a second here. It's going to be a big radio broadcast, but the ACC network has got the game nationally, obviously, at 8 o'clock, and they're bringing everybody. They're bringing their their number one crew is going to be broadcasting there from, I think, 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, and then they have a game or two before you guys, and then they'll be broadcast. So this is a huge deal nationally, and it's against so that's great for the city. That's great for the that's great for BC.
Oh yeah, no question. The ACC network will be there on one of the lawns outside the stadium. You know that area well.
Yep.
Taylor Tannenbaum's going to host it. So EJ Manuel and Eddie Royal and company will be there. So that's great.
Mark Richter, the former coach.
Yep.
They're all going to be there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a rallying point for the community. The toughest ticket I've seen at BC for at least a decade. The tickets just aren't there. People have asked me. I have 4 tickets that are spoken for, and you can't get them. So,
all right, now who are they spoken for to? Your significant other?
Might be a significant other in the mix.
Angel's pointing to himself.
My son Nick usually goes.
Okay.
Nick's a loyal fan, 16-year-old Nick who wants to go to BC.
Awesome.
But he's not going this week, but he'll be at the Western Kentucky game next Saturday.
Nice. Angel's going to be at the Miami USF game in Tampa. So 45,000 plus, jam-packed in like sardines, and that hasn't happened there in quite some time. So what an awesome atmosphere. And at night, 8 o'clock, everybody take it easy. You're going to get those that are going to be they're like, what's the ACC network doing on our lawn? That's going to take up at least 20 parking spots, right?
Oh, man. It is. Yeah, it's quite a sardine can, as you know. I mean, it's funny. People ask me, where do you park? I'd say, well, I park on the Comm Ave lot right on campus because I'm fortunate enough to have a parking pass. But those are gold, and
they're still busting people in from Needham and
yeah,
Western Mass.
TripAdvisor headquarters in Needham.
It's a tough place to tailgate. Let's be honest with you. Except for the elite that have been there forever. What is it? What's the field called? What's the
Shea Field?
Shea Field.
But
Tough to get a parking pass for Shea Field, is it not?
Shea Field, they don't do that anymore. It doesn't exist. That's where the Fish Field House is now, the indoor football facility.
Oh, okay. Well, I know people around like across the street, and they rent out their driveways for $100 a game.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a little patch of field that they do park on next to the indoor, but not as big as you remember.
Yeah. Okay.
They play baseball.
Okay. I got you.
They have a great baseball stadium now down on lower campus, but it's not easy. But the important thing is get there. People listening in the Boston area, and they've heard this before. Get there early. Be in the stadium. Get there. You don't want a late arriving crowd. You want that jam packed.
Don't get obliterated. Don't get obliterated before the game. Don't start drinking at 1 o'clock or 3. I mean, come on. This is a huge, huge game. Represent, have fun, but be able to comprehend what the hell is going on at the game. It's just it's not just at BC. Some of these people that, especially night games in certain parts of the country, they start drinking at 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon for 8 o'clock game, and then they can't even make it into the stadium. Don't do that.
They're a mess. They're an absolute mess. There was kind of like that at Missouri last week. That was an 11:45 Central start.
I know. So those people got there, 7:30? What time the parking lot's open? 7 o'clock in the morning or the night before?
On Friday morning.
All right, let's get into this. Prairie View A&M, they beat them 40-0, Michigan State. So some of the numbers are padded and all that stuff. They are 3-0. BC is 2-1, but a really good 2-1 team. I would not. I know they had to. I would not have dropped them out of the top 25. But the Eagles have to prepare for a couple of quarterbacks, right? Aiden Childs, Tommy Schuster, both had an impact recently. So BC have to prepare for those two QBs, and they have some other impact players as well, which we'll get into. So what are your thoughts on this Michigan State? Let's start with the offense.
I'd be surprised if Schuster plays. I think they're riding Childs. Childs had a good game against Maryland, threw for 363. Was picked off twice, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He played 9 games last year at Oregon State, backed up DJ Uiagalelei.
Yeah.
They took the red shirt off of him because they brought him in for predetermined plays. That's how high they were on him. So he went with that coaching staff to Michigan State. Jonathan Smith and Brian Lindgren, their offensive coordinator, were at Oregon State last year. So they're high on Childs. He was a 4-star recruit. Good backfield. Nate Carter, formerly of UConn, good back, kind of a rugged back. K'Ron Lynch-Adams, you remember him at UMass?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. 11.57
One
last
of the
year.
few UMass players that still can't believe that program exists, to be honest with you, but it's so bad. It really is awful. But, yeah,
They're
go
playing
ahead.
Missouri next month at
I
home.
know. Can you imagine that? I can't believe Missouri's coming up to Western Mass for that. That's going to be 87-0.
We warned the Missouri people, well, enjoy Hartford or enjoy Springfield. Because
hey, maybe they'll take a trip to the Baseball Hall of Fame in Albany. That's not too far. A couple hours up the road.
So that's an interesting fit, but they have some dynamic elements to the offense. They are tough.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you hear about Michigan State, you always hear the toughness factor. You know that. Yeah. And O'Brien was emphasizing that this week. Offensive line, little wounded, couple injuries up front.
Gavin Brocious, right? He's not playing this week. That's big.
They lost 2 right guards.
Okay.
They're down to the 3rd string right guard. Got a couple transfers. Tanner Miller, their center, is a Remington Award candidate. He's a good player. So good offense. I wouldn't call them necessarily explosive. They've kind of struggled. Maryland, they struggled, and FAU, they struggled, as you know.
Yeah.
16-10 win. That was an ugly game.
Well, Tom Herman can do that to
you. Yes, he can. Don't turn the lights out, Tom. Nick Marsh is a good receiver, kid out of Detroit. That he's going to be a really good player. So on defense, Pete, they got 3 really good linebackers. Jordan Turner's a transfer from Wisconsin. Cal Halliday is a pro. He's a tackling machine. Think about Michigan State. They wreak havoc. They have 27 tackles for loss. That's, I believe, 3rd in the country. So, again, competition.
Yeah. You look at the FCS stats. I don't pay much attention to.
BC, throw out Duquesne for that matter. So
but at least they took care of business. Now, did you buy into Billy O'Brien's comments about FCS, FBS, IRS, CSN? I mean, come on. He does know FCS as opposed to. I mean, come on.
Of course he does. He played in the FCS.
Yeah, I know. That's right. But he was just jaw. But there's got to be a buzz around this game, right? By the way, BC 4-1-1 all time in the series, including which a game that you called, right, was Matt Ryan versus Brian Hoyer back in 2007 in Orlando in the Champs Sports Bowl. You called that game.
I did. It was a great game. It was kind of a shootout. The Hoyer, I think, threw 4 picks. 2 of them by Jamie Silver, from Providence, was an All-American safety. Ended up with the Colts. Had a good career. So, that was a great game. I was dealing with a sinus infection and debilitated throughout the game at the old Citrus Bowl. And it was so bad for me, Pete. This is before Uber, and for some reason I couldn't get a cab. We stayed at, I think it was the Marriott World Resort in Orlando.
Yeah,
I had to walk to the CVS, which was like a mile away. I felt like it was walking through the desert.
No cabs around.
Couldn't get a cab. The person at the front desk said, "Oh, it's not that far. You can just take a walk." I'm like, "Okay." My head was going to explode.
Wow.
I needed that Z-Pack, Pete.
Nobody on you're in Disney World basically. Nobody on a Mickey Mouse golf cart. Nobody to help you.
I walked.
John Mita-Perel had to walk for a sinus infection. Did they have? What did you take?
I had a Z-Pack, which is I highly recommend to knock anything out of your system. But it's funny. One of those things I remember. Besides the fact Ryan played a terrific game, and Rich Gunnell played a great game, another BC all-time leading receiver, it was such a fun end of an era for that team. They ended up 10th in the country. Could have won the national championship, or they at least been a top 5 team that year.
That was the year they lost to Clemson in the ACC championship game.
Virginia Tech.
Oh, Virginia. Oh, that's right. Virginia Tech.
They lost to Virginia Tech and Tyrod Taylor.
That's right. Tyrod. No, not Tyrod. You have to say Tyrod.
Tyrod. Excuse me.
I don't know. Before we let you go, Meter, because I know you're busy. It's going to be such an emotion. I can't wait. My only thing is my Hurricanes are playing at 7, BC at 8. So hopefully, I'll be flipping. Obviously, YouTube TV. I'll be watching everything. But Did you see Finey go put Stephen A. Smith in his place yesterday about Deion Sanders? Did you see that? That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
See it, but I heard about it. It's enough with Deion Sanders.
Oh, please. Yes.
So done with him. So done with him. It's just overload, man.
Why don't just people bring up his coaching record against Division I schools? It's awful. What is it, 2-12? I don't count him barely beating North Dakota State, which I still say if he played that team 10 times, he'd lose 5. He was lucky to win the game against a great FCS team in North Dakota State. But how does this guy? It's starting to ease up a little bit. Get the ass smooching that he gets and the free pass. His coaching record stinks. He doesn't develop anybody. He's got 2 superstars on his team, and that's about it. And he's going to bail next year. He will bail. He will never stay. Can you imagine if this guy had to go through what Napier and Norvella going through, or some other coaches? I mean, and he has the audacity to come out and say, well, all the media is jealous because you don't get paid like the players do now. You know what? I mean, it is beyond obnoxious now, is it not?
It is. It is nauseating. And, it'd be one thing if he could back it up, but the team's terrible. And, he's got a good quarterback, but that's about it. Good skill player.
That's it. He's got the two-way player, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. So you build your team around 2 guys and no defense.
I want Baylor to win by 50.
They might. They might. It is beyond the pale. So many good stories in the game. I think we're building toward a really great playoff run for everybody. Yeah. The competitiveness aspect, especially in the ACC, we see it every week. There's very little separation from the top to the bottom. Some teams that really feel like they can be contenders. BC's one of them.
I hope it's Miami, BC at Hard Rock, because I will definitely go to that for the ACC championship game. That's what I hope, but that would be a lot, and that's not out of the realm of possibility. I have no faith in Clemson. I have obviously not. Florida State's done, and I'm still not sure what Louisville is yet, or Virginia Tech for that matter. But I would love for Miami and BC to go at it. That would be so
Big East. That game would be in Charlotte.
Oh, that's right. In Charlotte.
You have to come. You have to come to Charlotte, Pete.
I'll find a way.
I know you will.
Just like Jeff Goldblum.
You and Angel Martinez, you'll rent a van.
No, Angel will be covering USF at some bowl game.
Oh
no, that is not true. I take the bus. We get in the car. We drive real far. Get up there to the Carolinas. We'll be just fine. It's no problem.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Meter's going to start the broadcast. Buenos tardes.
Buenos tardes, everybody.
All right, man. Have fun. You teaching today?
No, that was yesterday.
Oh, did you tell? You got next time. Make sure you tell them the difference between Buenos tardes, Buenos dias, and Buenos.
I will. Don't go on a global, worldwide show and say Buenos tardes, everybody, when it's 9:05.
Well, it might be in some other parts of the world that listen to this show. We do have a worldwide audience.
I know you do.
But anyway,
all right. You're huge in Nepal now, Pete.
We need to do the one broadcast one time up there at Boston College. You know how you usually have the person doing a sign language when they're showing on TV, or especially during national anthem. So I'll stand next to Meter, and Meter just point over at me, and I'll just translate everything he said in English and Spanish, and then we just do the simulcast broadcast.
It could. He does a lot of that stuff now in Tampa. It's great.
Do you really?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, good for you, man.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, I tried. The last one was the Soccer ID, the brand new league that just came here, and they brought.
Meter's a big soccer guy, by the way. Honestly.
Yeah, Atlético Nacional and the team from Colombia. Club America came here, and so I ended up doing the announcements, English, Spanish.
At the bounce house.
Wow.
Yeah, at the goals in Spanish only, which was it was a lot of fun. So it was a good time.
Es muy difícil.
Sí, bien difícil.
But yes. I had him do a sample play-by-play of Lionel Messi passing the ball to me and me scoring. It was fantastic. I
love this celebration.
All right, my friend. All the best. Have a great broadcast. You, Pete, and Chach, and everybody else, and have a great time. We'll talk next week.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, the voice of Boston College football, and And also you see him on ESPN and the ACC network calling college basketball and baseball as well. That is going to be an unbelievable game coming up at the Heights. 45,000 plus. Fans are right on top of you. Sardine City, Wells Crowther honoring the Red Bandana game. It's going to be a fantastic atmosphere, Angel. And you're going to be covering the U and USF from Tampa, so you probably won't be able to see much of it. But if you ever the next day on the ACC network reruns the games, watch it. It's really something special. It really is one of the most special games around the country every single year.
You know, I'm kind of surprised from being in high school, the high school years up in Massachusetts, and of course living up that way because my grandmother moving there and the entire family over from the island. But I don't know why in the world I never went up to Boston College, went up to UMass, didn't go up to Boston College. NIT I went up to because I was trying to get in, and I never went up there. But I'm assuming is the stadium on campus?
Yes, yeah, yes, it is on campus. And it's about 5 miles outside of downtown Boston.
Okay.
So it's very, very difficult to park. There's not a lot of parking. It's a pain in the ass because they bus a lot of people in from Needham, the next town over, and it's a hard place to tailgate. They're really, if you had never been there before and you walk into a game like this, you'll be like, wow, this is something special. But to get the whole tailgating experience, it's very, very difficult to do. You have to do it like 5 miles away in the parking lot of someplace that's not near the stadium. Mm-hmm. Then you have to get on a shuttle bus, and they usually are pretty strict about having everybody in the stadium. They used to be a half hour before it starts, and there were tailgating restrictions and all that stuff. Still a great school, great campus, great atmosphere, but it's nothing like going to, it'd actually be more like going to a University of Miami game at Hard Rock.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, but at least there's a lot of parking there, and you're right there. Right. It's a different experience. Like the Gators, in Gainesville, when everything is right there and you can park and everything is right there, mm-hmm. It makes a whole world of difference. BC is one of the few schools. It's very, very difficult to park. So you have to take public transportation, and you're fine. The Green Line goes right there, right to the school. You can go right to downtown Boston, right to the campus.
The other thing that's surprising too for a lot of folks, I don't know if a lot of people ever caught the show Cheers, but it's different obviously when you see the original Cheers bar compared with what they had on TV. It is like a quarter of the size of what people would see on TV.
Yeah, the Bull and Finch is the original Bull and Finch. The only thing that's similar is a staircase that goes down because you go down. Now they ended up making a Cheers 2, which is right in Faneuil Hall. And that was an exact replica of the television show bar, but not the original bar. And the original Bull and Finch, the original Cheers, it's nice and everything. A lot of locals, and it's fine. It's obviously a huge tourist place where we can buy a $75 T-shirt, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's very friendly. Everybody's very friendly in there and all that, but it looks nothing like the bar on television. The one in Faneuil Hall does. If it's even still there, but it did. But yeah, that was something. Angel, all right, quick break, then we'll come back. Are you doing your show today?
No, senor, because I still have things I got to prep up to get done.
All right.
And also, I'm also testing out something new that could possibly end up making things a tad bit better. But it's like everything else. There's only so many hours in a day, and my night hours are already taken.
All right, buddy. Quick break, and then we'll wrap this up. So I'll let you go so you can go do some stuff. But quick break, and then we'll come back and wrap up the show. Maybe 1 or 2 more videos I'll play for you that I find entertaining. Right here, the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jim and the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our 2nd location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu.
And guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You want the best in sports and entertainment? You got it. Now back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
Yeah, I don't believe that. If you look at the history of that call, so initially you go through it, and I'm going to try to drag myself through the mud as much as I possibly can, because quite frankly, that's the only way you get better, is to really look at your decisions.
Jumping around all over the place. The Philadelphia Eagles. Nick Sirianni, I can feel Angel cringing every time he speaks. Welcome back to the final segment of the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. And it's been great. It really has. It's been great today. Great show today. Angel, before I let you go, so I'll let you comment on that. But before we do, if we could go back to my Twitter, and you're going to have to just refresh on my Twitter account real quick. And speaking of the Eagles, because I want to be fair and impartial here. On Get Up a little while ago, the Eagles, the crew is saying they have a couple of issues, Angel. I know you think they have 50 issues. They're saying there's at least a couple of issues. We could play that video a little while ago on Get Up.
Trust your stars to make plays. So in this particular situation, you were trusting Saquon to catch the ball, son. If he catches the ball, we are not having this conversation. Agree with you on the field. Like, I get it. I get what you're saying. But on that play call, I'm not going to kill him on that.
You also trust your head coach to make the right decisions in the right moment on a consistent basis. The Eagles have really two issues. One, they can't stop the run at all, which is going to be an issue for the foreshadowing of this weekend. Two, I don't trust Nick Sirianni to manage the game. I don't trust him in big situations to make that very specific decision of yes or no, do or don't. And those are their two big flaws right now.
Yeah. And what Dan is saying about I don't trust the head coach, that is why each and every week is a referendum on Nick Sirianni. Because the trust is not there. We're wondering within that locker room, and then also watching how he calls plays and manages
Right.
games.
It doesn't make any difference if you or I trust him. What matters is that there were a lot of stories that suggested that Jalen Hurts isn't 100% sure he trusts him, and that was the root of their problems during the offseason, and we'll see if they get them.
Yeah, so really interesting stuff there, Angel. And I can't believe the Eagles are minus 2.5. They are favored by 2.5 in this game coming up on Sunday against the Saints. We'll get into all of this tomorrow, a whole lot more. But you know what? Here's the thing, Angel. You watch everybody and their mom. And right now, I'm leaning towards my underdog of the week, which I think is an underdog that can win outright. Why wouldn't I pick the New Orleans Saints? But this is the NFL. And I will bet you, based on last week's performance, which is something where you can't go and do it because the NFL is a week-to-week game. Every game is its own separate entity. I will not be surprised if the Eagles go into New Orleans and win. It won't shock me at all. But also, you watch the public and even the wise guy money. The wise guy money will probably go on the Eagles. The public money, they're going to be all over the Saints this week, Angel. You watch. It may not necessarily be a good thing. They may end up being 3-point underdogs at home. And it's the NFL. We just saw Atlanta go into Philly and do what they did. We saw the 49ers go into Minnesota and lose and do what they did. It really is unpredictable. So I don't want to speak in absolutes. Right now, I am absolutely, why wouldn't I be leaning towards New Orleans? This is what we're talking about, Angelo. When things are crappy at their worst, not that they're horrible right now, but emotionally, the team on Monday night going on the road, always say that the road team that has to travel the following week on a short week that loses, you usually go with the home team on Monday night, which you would normally anyway. But anyway, your thoughts before we get out of here.
First of all, I don't that moron to win it head coach because just freaking listen. I as I censor myself there, but there's nothing that exudes at all, period, from Nick Sirianni at all. Nothing. There is nothing that he has shown me other than his ridiculous, once again, press conferences that he wants to keep talking about stuff that's going to get better. You're not proving anything on the gridiron that's going to make this team any better. You're not proving to me that you're going to go to New Orleans and win New Orleans. To me, I think New Orleans going to be such a lopsided game. I wouldn't be surprised if it would be 38-3 or 38-10 New Orleans coming up this week because this team is incomplete.
I'm sorry, the Saints are favored by 3, not the Eagles. My bad. But still, you think it's going to be that much of a blowout, and you're basing that on because they whipped Dallas so much that they did that. But stopping Kamara is going to be the big thing. They can't stop the run so far.
Right. Then that's the whole thing. If you can't stop the run, that's what New Orleans is going to do. You don't have to. All you have to do is watch 2 minutes of the tape from last week and just say, "Oh, we're just going to run the ball. Screw passing. We're just going to run it." They can bring their mascot. They can bring Sister Jean in. They can bring in anybody, and it will run this freaking ball.
Loyola Chicago's going to come and watch.
Yeah.
Need Sister Jean to say a prayer. She's what, 102?
Yeah. She has just celebrated her birthday not too long ago either. But no, there is nothing that's convinced me that Nick Sirianni is going to turn this team around come this week in New Orleans. New Orleans maybe of 2 years ago when they were still a little kind of dysfunctional and trying to figure out exactly what's going on. It's a whole different story. But looking at what happened, again, I'll keep referring back to Green Bay, looking at Sao Paulo, then looking at home against Atlanta. I mean, you would have to, even if they win and make it 1-2 for the season, or 2-1 for the season, this team will not make it deep in the playoffs. This team is definitely not going to the NFC Championship team or NFC Championship game.
Wow, you're ready to go that far already after heading into week 3?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, well, wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be like a freaking firework going off. It's going to be, because Nick has zero control. I don't know what game, he's not looking at a game sheet. I wish matter of fact, you know what?
Angels game sheet.
Yep.
Even though it's Miami USF, but what the hell?
Here's my game sheet. It's the reliable, easy fiber internet from Frontier. That's what he's looking at. He's not looking. There's no gameplay. That's what he's looking at. Nick, you can save, by the way, $29.99 if you order now, because there's nothing that he has that's going to convince me otherwise to tell me that he has his team on the right sheet of music. And I still believe that him and Jalen Hurts are not talking. They can say whatever they want to. They can make it look like they're two peas in a pod. The only thing that Nick Sirianni needs is Mike McDaniels to speak for him so that no one can understand anymore what he's saying. Moron.
All right, Angel. That's, oh my God. Why isn't that there we go. I'm still learning this control. All right, that's going to do it for the Pete Sheppard Show. Tomorrow, huge show coming up. Legendary television broadcaster out of Boston, Bob Lobel. Lobie's going to join me at 9:05 tomorrow. Then Gabe Morency, our big-time handicapper, will join me a little bit later on in the show at 9:30. I'll have my pigskin picks as well. We'll recap last week. We'll recap the Patriots. I'm picking the Patriots +6 tonight, not to win. Patriots +6 to cover. Jacoby Brissett will find a way, and hopefully the Patriots defense can come up big against the Jets. Go ahead, Angel.
Pats win by 7.
Pats win by 7? God bless you. All right. Let Queen take you home here, and I'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Bye-bye.